back to this hustle. This is my ring, watch out step in it, yeah. And I ain't even got it, y'all, but I'ma get it here. Watch out touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch. Everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now. Have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, yeah. Run it, ooh. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my, yeah. Run it, I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, yeah. Run it, ooh. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn bad. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it an FT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities and never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to pro something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground, then.
Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. He is Jason, the chosen one. I am Greg, a legend in my own mind. I know you guys haven't had the opportunity recently to see this beautiful face, this young and handsome face, but I had some issues going on with my face, man. I was all swollen, so I couldn't. Jay, you heard me on that Tuesday, man. As I was riding home from the doctor, I sounded bad, boy. Man.
It was hilarious, y'all. I should have recorded it.
But now I'm still a little swollen, a little bit in the face, but I feel a whole lot better than I did before. So let's kick this thing off, Jay. Let's first and foremost let's talk about our sponsors, of course, Rock Dog Interactive. If you need anything in regards to web design, logo design, whatever you need. Rock Dog Interactive, they can do it for you. They've been instrumental in the success of this particular channel. Everything that you see on this channel is directly from Rock Dog Interactive or myself. Some of this is myself, but most of it is from Rock Dog, man. And anytime I need anything, I can always reach out to them and get things going. So make sure you guys go check them out, Rock Dog Interactive. Black Father Figures, that's the League of Legacies. I haven't heard from him in a while, but still, that's my guy, and I want to make sure that we continue to support what it is that he's doing, because he's doing really important work out there in the community in regards to Black fathers and making sure that we get our just due. And then Nadaj Vodka, www.Nadaj Vodka. That is, as a matter of fact, I got a little Nadaj Vodka right here in this cup right here, Jay. Got a little Nadaj Vodka. I'm doing my thing today. Usually, all right. Keep on now. Usually I'm drinking something that's brown, but today I'm drinking a little Nadaj vodka, and I'm drinking it straight. You can always drink Nadaj vodka straight. It's one of the best tasting vodkas out there. Nadaj vodka, triple distill, owned by an African-American out of Jacksonville, Florida. So make sure you guys go check it out and support. All right, man. So let me go ahead and address some of the people that's in the comment section. Band Up, salute. Dutch Entertainment, salute. Chick, salute. And then Kai McFly, salute. We got 26 people in the building, 13 likes. If you get the opportunity, people, please smash that like button. Yes, they did do FSU dirty today. It's disheartening to see. I feel more so for the university and those kids, man, because they played their hearts and souls out over the last couple of weeks. That defense is dominant. I would tell you, nobody wants to see that defense in the college football playoffs. There's absolutely no reason to have Alabama in the college football playoffs. It's ridiculous. Texas played in a weak Big 12, and they got elevated because they beat Alabama, who struggled with Auburn, who should have lost to Auburn, who got washed by New Mexico State. They struggled with Texas A&M, who Miami absolutely manhandled, and they struggled with USF. Yet Alabama's in the college football playoffs because they're given the benefit of the doubt and because they beat Georgia, who played ordinarily good. Hold on, Jay. It seems like we're having some technical difficulties here with seems like YouTube. Hey, you guys, let me know if you can hear us. This appears to be YouTube. I'm getting this notification, Jay, that you can't see. Guys, let us know if you can hear us. But
yeah.
So they're propping. Okay, so they're propping up Georgia. Georgia hasn't played anybody. Georgia's played absolutely nobody this year. They played Missouri. That's the only team that they played. So Alabama is propped up by a Georgia who was on a weak schedule. Texas is propped up by Alabama that struggled with Auburn, who got washed by New Mexico. And they also struggled with USF and Texas A&M, who got washed by Miami. Then when you go and look at the Big 12, Michigan has played nobody other than an OSU team that struggled with Notre Dame, who got washed by Louisville, who got dominated last night on defense by Florida State. So when you look at everything, plus the records of the ACC versus the SEC this year, which was 6-4, and one of those wins from the SEC is Georgia Tech versus Georgia, it's clear that there's no reason why Alabama should be in the college football playoffs other than a narrative created by ESPN because they have a vested interest in ESPN and SEC being in the college football playoffs. That's the only way it can be explained. And so I'm going to move on from that. Jay, you ready to hop into some boxing?
Yeah. Well, quick 2 cents on that. It's definitely me and you talked offline about it, and you were hopeful. I told you what it should be, and we agreed on what it should be. But I knew that's what it wasn't going to be because there's too much money involved in that as well. The SEC brings a lot of money, and for them not to have them in the college football playoffs, they're going to lose some money on that as well. You know, I didn't have a problem with Texas because Texas won their conference and they beat Bama. Florida State went undefeated, won their conference as well, and along with some of the teams they played and beat, like you said. But there's too much money in that. I knew the fix was in yesterday when they showed the stat on the cost of the games for the championships yesterday. They had, I think the SEC was like $600 some, and the ACC championship was just under $200 or so. So that differential right there, I knew it was going to be some BS, especially if Bama won. I knew it was going to be some chaos it was going to be out there. But the thing is, they try to say, it's cause of little Fizz, as I call them, JT, as some people call him, Jordan Travis not being in the game. Well, I remember in 2014, Ohio State went to the championship and won it with their third string quarterback that no one knew of, in Cardale Jones. He only played one game. He played against Wisconsin. Then he went through the playoffs and beat everybody in the playoffs. Their defense was good, but their defense wasn't as good as FSU. I'm not an FSU fan by far. Y'all know I rock my Canes all day, every day. And I'll be real. FSU defense is legit. Them boys showed it last night. They showed that you can rely on a run game. I also remember earlier this year that Michigan played Penn State, and their offense was doing, I believe their quarterback was hurt, if I'm not mistaken. And what did they do? They ran the ball every down in the second half. So it's not that it can't happen. And FSU was deserving that. They did what they're supposed to do.
And Michigan didn't look great they didn't look great last night against Iowa either. So, bad competition. Also, it goes against everything they said in there. So, is it head-to-head? Is it conference champion? Are you undefeated? You know, I mean, the team it's always football's always been a next man up mantra. So, if someone goes down, the next man steps up, right? So, you're saying that if someone gets hurt, it's over?
You're done for the playoffs. You can't get there.
You said
all the work the other players did. Come on, man.
Yeah, all you got to do is ask yourself this, Jason. Reverse it. If it was Alabama right now, and Alabama was on their third string quarterback, and they play someone similar from the SEC East, let's call them Missouri. They play somebody like Missouri in the SEC East down to their third, and they would have won that game 16-6 with a dominant defense. They would have been talking about Alabama's defense, how gutty that win was, and they would have put them in the college football playoffs. Simple as that. So all that other stuff, and I don't think Ryan Prentice even watched college football, because if he thinks OSU didn't struggle with Notre Dame, he clearly didn't watch the game. So let's move on to boxing, dog.
Yeah. All right. So there's a superstar fight last night.
Yeah.
And Ryan Garcia and Oscar Duarte. I know you didn't get the chance to watch the whole fight. I was watching because that was the same time as the FSU game was on as well. But Ryan was doing some makeshift shoulder roll, and come to find out after the fight, he said that Derek told him to stop doing it and told him not to do it, but he just did it anyway, just because he wanted to see how he could avoid some shots from Oscar Duarte on there. Ryan got the knockout in, I believe, in the 7th round. I think the 7th or 8th round, I forget which round it was, but he got the knockout. He looked quick. He looked sharp in there early on. He said cinnamon roll. He looked sharp in the beginning of the fight. Quick jab. But the way he was moving, I didn't like that. He was obviously getting hit in the stomach as well, in the body, and he took those shots pretty well. He still does the same pull back, straight up, hit high. Still got caught with that, but he took the shot pretty well. Overall, he did a decent showing for himself. So I think he's definitely going to be set up for some fights. I want to say he said he was trying to come back in March or April. So he didn't say who he might be fighting, but overall, it wasn't a bad showing by Ryan. From the highlights that you saw and what you read on, what's your take on that, Greg?
I saw clips of the fight. Ryan still got a lot to work on. Clearly, Derrick James is not getting through to his fighters in a way that he needs to, because Ryan made the comment that, he should have listened to Derrick James, because everything that occurred in the ring was exactly what it was that he was saying. I don't know why there's a challenge with, fighters listening to Derrick James. We've seen this for, I guess, the 3rd time now. We saw it in the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight. We saw it with Frank Martin's last fight. It's just, there's a disconnect between he and the fighters for whatever reason. And he gotta improve on that somehow. He got to make sure that those fighters are executing the game plan when they get in the ring. While on God's green earth, we see someone like Ryan Garcia trying a shoulder roll in a fight where, he and his coach did not practice that. I just want to see if it works. That's something, that's how you get knocked the F out, right? I mean, when you think about it, why wouldn't you, if you want to practice the shoulder roll and see how you can actually implement that or employ that as a part of your game plan, or your have that in your toolkit, then why not try that in practice, in training, and get alignment from your coach that that's something that you should be doing? Because the shoulder roll, as we've seen in the past, when people have tried to use it, when they don't have an expert level of knowledge about it, they get beat up. Robert Guerrero versus I'm losing in Berto. When Berto started trying to do the shoulder roll, I mean, Berto was getting lit up. Berto was getting absolutely lit up. So, I mean, for me personally, Derrick James has to do something in order to make sure that his fighters are listening to the game plan and executing the game plan. Now, I don't believe that, like Errol lost because he wasn't necessarily executing the game plan. I just feel like Errol was not there all the way physically, and Terence just came in with an excellent game plan, one that was smart. But I felt like Frank Martin could have made the fight easier if he would have listened to the instructions of his trainer, and Derrick got to get that under control, man, or he's gonna continue to have issues in these fights.
Oh, definitely. Now, it still was a better fight than Shakur's fight against De Los Santos, because Ryan did start doing some of the stuff that Shakur was doing. Like I was telling you when I was watching the fight, he was basically on his bike. I want to say like rounds 6 and 7, because he got an actually knockout in round 8. So he was giving away those last 5, 6, and 7. I felt like he was giving those rounds away just by being inactive and being on that bike and doing that jelly roll, as some people were calling it in the chat, or cinnamon roll, tootsie roll, some type of roll, but it wasn't a shoulder roll. But I don't understand why he's not listening. I don't understand, again, to your point, I don't understand why Derek is not having his fighters are not listening to him directly in the corner. And Ryan even admitted to it. He's like, I told DJ afterwards, like, everything he said, I need to listen to him. Everything he said was right. I'm like, that's why you got a coach.
Facts.
That's what the coach is there for, to help you out, to see stuff that you might not see. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a Derek James problem. It seems like it is, since he's the common denominator in all 3 of those fighters. Hit me, bro. So, I mean, he's the common denominator in those fighters not listening for whatever reason it may be, but something has to give. And I know some people in here, I know Jason Williams was like, he might want to cut him loose. Something's got to give. I mean, Ryan said he really likes being with Derek James in his corner, but you got to listen to him. You got to listen to him, because everyone at first, I thought that Derek James was the one that implemented the shoulder roll for Ryan. I'm like, that's not it. I doubt that. And then Ryan confirmed at the post-fight interview that it was all him. So Ryan got to get his head in the game, but his defense is still lacking. He took some shots in that fight, and he's still pulling straight back on the line with his head up. He's going to get clipped by someone that has more pop than Duarte. And he says Duarte can punch. And he was trying to get him tired by pretty much getting his bike rounds 5, 6, and even 7 before he clipped him with the check left hook pretty much on that. But he says he wants Rolly. That'll be an entertaining fight for sure. As far as the lead up, that'll be a hell of a lead up. I will admit that. But Ryan's not going to be, to me, he's not a threat to the top dogs at 140. Not fighting like that.
Not based off what I saw. And again, I have to caveat that I didn't see the fight in its entirety, but from what I did see, I didn't think Ryan looked impressive at all. So,
I give him credit on a quick jab. That jab was fast. That jab was lightning quick.
But he's fast in general, man. That's nothing unusual about that. I mean, Anyway, let's move on to the next topic, man. I'm having a shitty day. I'm having a shitty day. My bad, guys. I know my tone ain't great right now.
Hey, man, y'all get over it, man. That's what college football does to you. They sometimes they screw you.
I ain't getting over shit. I ain't getting over shit. All right, let's go. I'm ready to go.
Then build a bridge.
Huh?
I'm trying to be cool with you, Greg. I try to feel bad. I try to show you some sympathy. Although you didn't give me the same in return.
Fuck you.
For the BS that my teams went through. See, you know what? FSU deserved to be in the toilet bowl right next to me. Fuck y'all. How about that? FSU deserved it. Should have won by more points. Go over there crying, looking all sad. Damn shame.
All right, man. Go on to the next topic, man.
All right, so the 135 pound division, we know Devin has vacated his belts. So with them vacating, they gonna cry in the car.
Fuck all this shit, man. Already crying.
Woo. But yeah, so with them vacating all the belts, it's rumored that Loma and Kambosos are gonna be fighting next year. Yeah. What's your takes on that?
Yeah, man. I don't really like the fight. I don't really care to see the fight, but if they're gonna make the fight, I hear it's possibly gonna be for the IBF title. It's not necessarily an intriguing fight. I think what's intriguing for me in terms of that particular fight is the fact that Shakur Stevenson is not necessarily being as aggressive, if you will, in regards to Lomachenko, and the fact that Lomachenko is not stepping in the ring with him next. Because he had a lot of stuff to talk about. Devin Haney, I don't know why I got so personal with Devin, but the energy for Lomachenko isn't the same. The energy for Tank isn't really the same. You know what I'm saying? You got Tank that's in your division. You know what I mean? He's a cash cow. Why aren't you going as hard as you possibly can to get that fight? You say that you were named. you say that you're a star. Yeah, you're not on the same level as a Gervonta Davis, but you should see yourself as bringing value, right? So you should be willing and ready to get into the ring. So, I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent to some respect, but not really, because Kambosos, who cares? Like, okay, Lomachenko go over there, he washes him just like Devin Haney washed him, and then, you know, he comes back over with the title. I'm kind of thinking beyond that, I guess. And I want to see what Shakur Stevenson does. I want to see if he gets on Twitter and goes ham like he did on Devin Haney. I want to see Shakur Stevenson get more aggressive with fighters that we actually want to see him in the ring with, right? Or I don't know. I guess I kind of want to see him in the ring with Lomachenko, but get more aggressive with Gervonta Davis. I mean, he's calling you out. I mean, his trainer is saying that, you know what the deal is. You know. So, call him out. Call Tank out. Tank said he willing to take that fight. I mean, his trainer basically saying, hey, if you really believe you can beat Tank, take what you being offered. My youngest not taking a pay cut. So if you really think you can beat him, take what you're offered. And I feel like Shakur can probably get $4 million versus a Gervonta Davis, because he's going to bring so many eyeballs to the sport. So I don't know, man. I don't really think Shakur really want that smoke with Tank, and that's where I'm going with it.
He says he does. He says he does.
Hey, band up. I'm pulling for your Huskies now, man. I'm pulling for your Huskies now. I think I had them number one. I think their resume is better than Michigan. Michigan ain't played no damn body. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the fact that this whole Loma Kambosos thing was even in the talks. And I've been saying from the very beginning that Shakur should have had a lot of smoke for them. Should have had a lot of smoke for them and had a lot of smoke for the WBC when they put him back at 2 and put Loma at 1 after Loma got beat by Devin. But Shakur was quiet with that. He wasn't popping off like he pops off at Tank, or not at Tank, but at Devin or Tio. He's quiet about Loma. For some reason, he really wants to say, I don't know, because they're on the same banner. He's trying to do the PC way of being nice and everything, but that ain't, closed mouths don't get fed. You can do it if you got all the heat for everyone else, but this for Loma, not so much. I don't like it all. But it's all about money for Kambosos and for them both, really. And it's easy fight for Loma, I would say, for him to get a belt real quickly. Sooner or later they're gonna have to come back around. If Loma really wants to be undisputed, he got to come back around and either face Shakur or Tank. If Tank takes that WBA belt, which I don't think he said he won't. But I don't like this fight at all. I think it's trash. I think it's a duck move, the weakest move for Loma to get a belt instead of fighting Shakur.
Yeah, get in the ring with Shakur. I want to see that fight. I kind of want to see that fight. Sort of, kind of. Get in the ring with Shakur. Let's see what you got against Shakur. Because Shakur but I really want to see Shakur, in the ring with some power again. But get in the ring with Shakur. This ain't really a fight that anyone is asking for. So to me, to your point, it's an easy path to a title if they're going to fight for the IBF title. Mm-hmm. And, he'll probably get a nice little paycheck if it's going to be over there in Australia. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, that's not something I really want to see. I have no real legitimate interest in seeing that fight.
None whatsoever. So staying around that weight class and talking about Shakur, and let me go ahead and put this out there again for people that don't know. Me and Greg both think the world of Shakur as far as his talent. We think Shakur is a beast in the ring. He can be. His last performance, that was a stinker. That was crap. That was a trash performance. He got the win, but he didn't entice anyone to really want to watch him. But on Twitter, he says he's ready for Tio. Because Tio kind of threw shade at him about his fight, talking about he got paid $4 million to put people to sleep, which wasn't a good fight. But he's throwing shade at Tio, throwing it back at Tio, saying that he'll take the fight with Tio when it's ready. What's your thoughts on that, Greg?
Let me just say salute to Daryl Thigpen. You guys, can I get my wrench? Daryl Thigpen. Daryl, don't. Jay, we'll circle back to you, Daryl. So when I think about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, I would love to see that fight. I just mentioned that I want to see Shakur in the ring with somebody with power. But when you think about Tio, not only does Tio have power, but Tio is actually fairly slick. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he performs against somebody like that. I like Shakur. I think Shakur is a very talented fighter. I thought in the fight against De Los Santos. I thought he looked sharp in like rounds 1 and 2. You heard me, Jay. I was like, he looked pretty sharp to me. But then as he continued to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, I realized that the strategy was just to stay away. And I personally feel like Shakur Stevenson will not be able to win a fight against a brand name fighter, if you will, with that style. Like, you can't sit on the outside and just try to avoid and try to box from the outside with just a jab, with an unwillingness to throw any other real shot because you're afraid of the power that you're going to get countered with. Can't fight like that. And against a Teofimo Lopez that has a name, he'll lose. If that would have been Teo in the ring fighting the exact same way as James Go St. Patrick, he would have lost. You put him in the ring with Gervonta Davis and he tries to fight a fight like that, he's going to lose. Tank's going to get the benefit of the doubt. Any fighter with power that's being aggressive and has a brand name is going to get the benefit of the doubt fighting Shakur Stevenson. So I want to see what Shakur does when he gets back into the ring with somebody with some power. Similarly, and I want to make sure that people understand that I'm consistent, I said the same thing about Boots Ennis. I want to see Boots Ennis back in the ring with somebody that has movement because of the Karan fight. I want to see how he performs now against someone with movement. That's why I was really interested in seeing the fight between he and Keith Thurman. Now, Thurman is not necessarily a spring chicken at this moment, but he would bring a level of movement to the ring, and I wanted to see how Boots performed against that. And I'm a draw in his fans. So, I like to see how it's all about response, right? It's like, okay, you had a bad performance. Now, how do you respond? Similar to the Florida State Seminoles, who should be in the college football playoffs. They always respond, but I digress. I want to see how a fighter responds to a bad, fuck you and fuck Georgia. I want to see how a fighter responds to a bad performance in the ring. How do you come back from that? Will you show the skills? Will you show that you went back to the lab and you tighten up on those skills? So, I'm curious to see what he does with somebody like Teofimo, but of course, he's not going to get in the ring with Teofimo Lopez. It's all Twitter fingers.
Well, he also said that they asked him to kind of press them on it. They're like, so, you see yourself fighting Teo. He's like at 140. He's at 140 at 135. He's like, nah. He's like, we're not even waiting for the weight class. I'm at 135. He's at 140. So why are you getting Twitter fingers? If you talking about a future fight, when 2025, 2026, next year. And then you dismiss it. Nah, Shakur bothers me so much because he has so much talent. Now, the last fight makes it harder to really the cap for him because he didn't give you no reason to. And then he turned his back on it on his own fans and everyone else mad about his performance. I mean, I know Ghost didn't do the best thing in the best fighting in there neither. He didn't push the issue. He didn't really put himself in harm's way neither. But you're the name of the two. So it falls more on you than it does on Ghost in that fight. So,
yeah, no, I agree with that.
Up there, but yeah, man, it's just, it was interesting. That poll that we did, who would win if Teo and Shakur fight. It was basically 50-50 on that. So I was interested to see how that went. Most of the people that said if Teo was gonna win, I think it was like 30-some%, 35% said Teo would win by knockout. So I found out, it's like, okay, and of course, most of the wins for Shakur would be by UD. And I couldn't believe some people actually say he would knock Teo out. I definitely don't see that happening, but who knows? But they ain't fighting at least until 2026, 2027, if they ever fight. So
no, they won't.
We'll see.
Let me interrupt you here real quick. Jay, we got 103 people in the building, 35 likes if you get the opportunity, just for the fact that I am completely depressed because of the college football playoffs today, and Florida State was left out. Go ahead and hit the like button for your boy. It's your boy, man. Come on, man. We're giving you guys this great content. The like button is free, guys. It's free. Hit it for your boy today. Just for the day. If you haven't ever come to this channel before and hit the like button, hit it today because your boy is over here struggling. And also, if you are new to the channel, this is the Angry Man Podcast and Sports Media. We always bring in boxing content, but we also bring other content like college football, NBA stuff, but for the most part, it's boxing at the moment. So make sure you become a subscriber to the channel. We welcome you to the channel. Your opinions matter. We don't mind you challenging us whatsoever. And the people that are in the chat section right now can vouch for that. You can say whatever you want to say to us as long as you don't call me Don't call me no meat eater though. I ain't going for no meat eater now. But you can call me a clown. You can call. I don't know nothing about boxing. All that is fair game over here on AM Sports Media. All right, Jay. I'm sorry I interrupt you. Go ahead.
Hey, Deuce Daily. Greg was like Cuba Gooding and Boys in the Hood. He was punching the air after they dropped
Hey
out.
man.
Dropped
Hey
that
man.
release,
Hey
top
Deuce.
four.
Deuce. Let me tell you something. You see I'm raw today, Deuce. No, Jay. You see I'm raw today, Deuce. You gonna have to stop with that today, Deuce. Now, usually I don't mind you ribbing me, you poking at me, Deuce, but today you gonna have to stop that shit, man. I'm having a bad day, Deuce. Better chill out, man. All right, Jay. Deuce my guy, man, but damn, he poking at me today, man. I can't take it today, Deuce. I can't take it today, Deuce. This isn't the right day. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh man, this is a great day, man. It's a great day.
Man,
We all the same. We all the same, y'all. Ain't no championships, no college playoffs for you or me. Just sit right next to me. We gonna be watching all the championship games by ourselves from the outside. It's all good, Greg. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see here. Oh, hey, Greg. Jason Williams wanted to know if you destroyed your hats or something from the news of Florida State being left out. He said it, not me. I'm just reading what he said in the chat, bro.
fuck you and Jason Williams.
Just reporting. Why I gotta be like that, man? I'm just reporting.
I don't give a fuck what you reporting. I don't need your report.
Dang, why you took to guard the last word because Greg breaking them all. Got to drink out of plastic now.
Hey man, hey Jason, I'm looking right at the end stream button. Keep on fucking around. I'm just gonna hit the end stream button. I got other things to do. But stop fucking with me, man. Go on to the next topic now.
Oh shit! Oh man. So talking about trolls. So Tank responds to a troll about Dev doing it without Floyd. So it's kind of weird the way Dev. Some troll was saying that Devin got all his without Floyd. When truth be told, Tank is promoted by Floyd. Was promoted by Floyd, of course. So he definitely got the promotions and the help of Floyd. But Devin did too because he trained with Floyd Sr. And so did Shakur because they've all been to the gym and Floyd has always been bigging them up. So they all get big benefit from Floyd, but Tank was like, he didn't do it. He was the one that was pretty much doing everything in the ring. He did everything. He was the muscle on that. So I mean, that troll was crazy on that to me. I didn't understand it.
Hey, I'm about to lead. I'm about to lead the show. I'm just gonna leave it up to you. I've been abused by you and the chat. I don't need this shit in my life today. I'm about to walk out of this motherfucker. I swear. I'm about to walk out of this bitch. I told you not to fuck with me before we got on the show, didn't I? Didn't I tell you not to fuck with me? I told you not to fuck with me before. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I told you before the show, don't fuck with me, man. I'm raw today. I asked you not to mess with me. You kept going.
Okay, Melvin.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you and FSU won't have a ball when we lost though. But go ahead, man. What you talk about? What you think about taking messing with the trolls?
I don't think shit. How about that? Sorry, son of a bitch. So Tank went on his Instagram, his Twitter, and responded basically saying that Floyd was all talk. And I agree with that. Floyd was all talk, but at the end of the day, Floyd is his promoter. Therefore, Floyd should be all talk, right? That's his job. His job is to promote his fighter. Listen, there's no knock to any fighter for getting the benefit of brand recognition because of a fighter that they're associated with, a promoter, an entity, or whatever. That is the job of the promoter. Meaning, if you go and you become a fighter on Top Rank, you're going to get more exposure because you're associated with Top Rank versus if you were associated with Samson Boxing. It is what it is. That's the purpose of it, right? So Gervonta Davis would have absolutely gotten exposure by being connected to Floyd Mayweather. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But here's what's also true. Gervonta Davis had to go into the ring. His style is explosive. His skills are immaculate. He put asses in seats because of his style and the results in the ring. So all things can be true. He got the benefit of being connected with Floyd, and he's an excellent fighter. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, he did go into something after that, basically saying that Al kind of knew what was going on and said that Al said something to the effect of he's going to take control over his career. And it's been, Al since then. And that's perfectly fine. I don't know exactly what it was that he was talking about. Maybe he's talking about some of the issues he's had with Floyd Mayweather going back and forth, so forth and so on. And that's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, you hear outlets and channels going off and they say stuff like, Gervonta Davis rips Floyd Mayweather. And you guys probably know, if you know who I'm talking about in the comment section, just put it in the comment section. I'm not going to actually say that channel's name, but there's so many channels that try to create clickbait. And don't get me wrong, I understand. I know I'm going off on the topic right now, Jay. I understand this whole game in terms of YouTube. And we've been doing it now for what, about maybe 21 months or something, a little under 2 years. And I understand this whole YouTube game in terms of you got to create titles that are catchy. You got to create thumbnails that are catchy, that catches people's eyes so they don't want to click on it. But you got to the best that you can, try to make sure that you keep it real with your title. And we try to as the best we can while also trying to make the title interesting. And too many people do these things talking about, Tate literally said in his tweet, this is no shade. But Floyd was all talk. This is no shade. So it wasn't meant to diss anyone. Right. So I just have a problem with, YouTubers doing that kind of stuff. And that's part of the reason why we have a channel here today. And I'm off on a tangent, but I just wanted to say that, Jay. So it is what it is. Rafa Casanova, you win. You win. That is absolutely right.
I was just responding. Chick said they're all learning bad habits from Floyd, like protecting the O and demanding too much money. And
that's not a bad habit of Floyd.
Because I can't agree with that fully because Money May, Pretty Boy Floyd paved the way for Money May to start protecting the O and earn the money. These kids nowadays, these fighters nowadays, they want to come out like they're Money May without putting any work. So if they gotta look at Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy set everything up for Money May. Pretty Boy put in mad work. He fought anyone and everybody. It was exciting. He talked a lot of noise. He was the villain. He was the good guy, the bad guy, the whole nine. So he earned that. All these kids just see him being flash and everything, but I can't just say it's all Floyd's fault. Not at all. It's all the promoters that ever want to pay these fighters too much, and then the fighters aren't producing. And then when the fighters don't produce and get mad, they go somewhere else and please somebody else for their money. So, nah.
Man, what Jason Williams talking about that I chose violence? I'm not being violent against anybody. I'm not being violent. I will beat a motherfucker ass today. I tell you right now, I'd beat the shit out of Jason if he was next to me right now. I'd whoop his ass.
I just leave you out, dude, Greg. I just leave you out, man. That's all. I'll leave you outside. Oh, Chick, yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah, they definitely expecting too much. They're definitely expecting way too much. Expected too much. I mean, I remember not even a young fighter, Ishe Smith. Ishe Smith was pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Floyd reached out to him, pretty much gave him an advance, got him a title fight. He won the title, and then after that, he went downhill. And then he started talking bad about Floyd because Floyd was like, you got to start earning your keep. So some of these fighters are just, they really wanted, expecting the Money May route without being Pretty Boy Floyd. So yeah, but still staying with the 135, 140 pound division, we got a big fight coming up this up and coming weekend.
Hell yeah,
Devin the Dream Haney versus Regis Prograis.
What the fuck is
it's fight week, folks?
What is a Rougarou?
A Rougarou. It's like a boogeyman in Louisiana, from what he said.
Oh, okay. I've heard the term somewhere else before. I'm not sure. I just never knew what it was. But now I'm excited about this fight, man. Devin Haney was almost a 4-1 favorite in the last time we looked at the fight. I'm pretty sure that the odds will get closer. I'm excited about the fight. I want to see what Devin. What do you mean? Are you gonna bet on it?
if the odds get higher, where it's like, if he's like a 5-1 favorite, you damn right I'm gonna bet on. I'm gonna bet on Regis, just cause.
Okay.
Just cause he got the power to knock Devin out.
He does, absolutely. And certainly we'll be doing content on that in the upcoming week. But Jay, I want to pause here real quick. I know this is off a tangent, but guys, I just want to ask this question. Do you guys believe that our content on the channel is diverse enough? I'm just curious because, we were accused of being something that we didn't. I personally didn't think we were. I always felt like we tried to be as diverse as possible relative to our content. So let me know if our content is diverse or not, or diverse enough in the chat section. But I'm excited about this fight, man. We'll probably do an official breakdown of the fight and predict who we think is going to win. Devin Haney struggled to make 135 pounds. I always thought that Devin was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I didn't think he was going to be able to compete against anybody at 140 pounds. And after Regis' last performance, now I believe that he is competitive in that fight and can win that fight. And not only that, when you see him at the initial press conference, I mean, Devin looked big, man. I mean, he looked like a big dude. Devin looked like a 147 pounder. So, Devin definitely got. Now we'll see if that translates to any power. Honestly, I doubt it will. But Devin is who he is. I think Devin's going to try to fight from range. I think Devin is motivated to not put up a stinker, right? Because technically it's in his hometown. Although some people say he's from Henderson, Nevada. I don't know what the truth is, but it's supposed to be a homecoming for Devin Haney. He's going to want to put on a good performance. We saw what happened with Shakur Stevenson. He's not going to want to imitate or duplicate what we saw from Shakur Stevenson in his fight against Go St. Patrick. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I'm really excited about the fight. I like the stylistic matchup, a slugger versus a boxer. We'll see if the boxer can, stay away from the slugger for long enough to actually win the fight. Regis does have power. I think the way that Devin Haney is talking about Regis Prograis, I think I think he's down in. It's interesting because I think it's stupid to actually down your opponent because all you're doing is after you win, you
win.
You take away from your victory, right? So, stop talking about a fighter, you garbage, you a C-class fighter, whatever it was that he was saying. You ain't got no boxing skills, so forth and so on. I mean, I'd be bigging him up, man. You a monster, dog. Man, everything that I've seen from you, man, at 140 pounds, man, you that dude. You a monster, man. You got boxing skills. You got everything so that when I beat you, I get my due respect. And so I never understood that from a fighter. And I feel like Devin, at least in Devin's mind, he's elevated to like the superstar type level fighter after becoming undisputed. And to an extent he has. And this is no knock toward Devin Haney because honestly, truthfully, I like the way that he and his dad are moving. I think they're being very strategic in who they put him in the ring with. I think they're putting him in the ring with legitimate fighters while also avoiding some fighters that may give him problems. And that's smart. Now they're looking at a Keith Thurman. If you move up to 147 pounds to fight Keith Thurman, well, Keith Thurman is, 86 years old and didn't look good in this last fight. So there's a possibility that he could be competitive in that fight. So strategic matchmaking is important in boxing to build up credibility. Now with people that are, follow the sweet science to a T, not so much, but other folks that works. And so I can't be mad at the way that they're moving, but I'm very interested in this fight, Jay. I can't wait to see this fight next weekend. Unlike the fight that we just, saw this past weekend with Go to Boy Promotion, who is probably the shittiest promotion company in all of boxing. But I digress, Jay. I'm gonna switch it back to you, man. What's your thoughts on it?
Now, Don King, and there's another promotion called Dream Boxing. I was just surfing yesterday. I found, and I was like, gosh, this is horrible. I actually sent you a screenshot of Don King's promotion fight yesterday. They had like 4 people in the crowd, and I was front row. But yeah, I'm interested in this fight here because Regis didn't look good in his last fight. Haney fought Loma in his last fight and handled business there. Whether it's controversial win or not, he still handled business. I don't know if someone made a good point in the chat. Seeing if Regis can cut the ring off because I'm quite sure Devin's not going to want to stay in the trade with Regis. Because we know Regis can crack, so that's going to be interesting to see how that goes with that. But I'm interested in that fight big time. Also seeing Sabril Matias on that fight card as well. No, he already fought. Did he? Yeah. What I'm talking about. Excuse me, guys. This happens when you get old. Watch too many fights, and everything just starts coming together. So I think, didn't Matias already fight?
Motherfucker, just your dead brain ass up.
Hey, I'm gonna leave you back. All right, keep playing. Leave your ass outside, just like the nose got left outside. The goddamn going playoffs. Still on the outside.
Bad knee motherfucker.
Anyway, I think it's gonna be a good fight between Regis and Devin. It's gonna be interesting to see how, to your point, you know, the kind of like the slugger versus the boxer. Seeing if Regis can actually get inside on Devin and not allow Devin to tie him up. You know, because Devin is the bigger fighter in this fight here. Although he's the one that's coming up, which was interesting when I saw that. But I'm looking forward to this, and you know, we'll get into it later on this week when we drop our prediction video later on. It's close to the fight time, seeing how they weigh in, how they look at the media days and whatnot. But moving on. So Terence Bud Crawford was talking about pretty much, it seems like he doesn't want any parts of Benavidez. I understand him wanting Canelo. Hell, I would want to fight Canelo for the payday. For me, it's definitely about payday. No legacy, no nothing. Just give me the payday. I go in and get cleaned out in the first round, no problem. But me and Canelo about the same height, same size. So that's why Terence is saying that he'll fight Bud to fight Canelo versus him fighting Benavidez, because Benavidez is taller in stature. They got the same arm length, but Benavidez is a much bigger person. Punches and bunches. So I'm not mad at Bud. It's not saying he'll fight Benavidez. Also, it's not going to be the money fight that he wants. And Benavidez doesn't have a belt. You know, but if you're going to be at 168 and you want to get to Canelo, and Canelo's not going to fight you, and the one way you can force it is to beat the mandatory, to become the mandatory for Canelo, try to force your way up there. So that way he can't deny you anymore, saying you just want a payday. You're his mandatory at that point in time. So I can't really be mad at Bud for not wanting to fight Benavidez. Benavidez is huge compared to Canelo at the same weight at 168. What's your thoughts on that?
No comment. I'm not talking anything but Crawford today. So someone says Budrick Crawford, Benavidez beats Canelo. He might though. Ryan should fight Arnold Barboza next. That's interesting. But since you don't want to talk about Bud on here, let's see. I might be in a minority, but I think Benavidez is made for Canelo. Not sure if the version Canelo still has it though. Hey Jason, I understand that Canelo can fight whoever he wants. Canelo never fights. He fights his mandatories, but he's selective with the mandatory he fights. He goes over you or fights him. That's what he does. So I'm just trying to see another way Bud can try to get in position to really force the fight with Canelo. That's the only other way, because he can't pull it because he's not a draw to Canelo's level. Canelo doesn't get anything out of that. Bud's coming up in weight, 2 or 3 weight classes, so it's not gonna make a difference on that. You know, now Bud not fighting Benavidez, he knows Benavidez is a bigger challenge as far as the size wise, as far as height and whatnot. Also, he's younger. Also, he doesn't have a belt right now, nor does he bring the money for Bud. But like I said, to try to force Canelo into a corner saying that, hey, you got to fight your mandatory, dude, or drop them belts and flee. And then we're really going to say you're a duck. He fights Benavidez, beats Benavidez, then he gets the belt. Because he's not going to get a fight with Canelo any other way, in my opinion. I don't see it happening. Band Up just asked, you know, why don't I want to talk about Terence Crawford? There's a gentleman that calls in every week. I love him to death. His name starts with a J. He's a great guy. Love him. He supports the channel. I just simply don't want to talk about and have a discussion with him in regards to Terence Crawford today. So because of that, I'm not going to comment on Terence Crawford at all. Therefore, he's going to have to direct all his energy towards Jason. I will remain muted. Yeah, that's it. Plus, they say that we all we do is hate on Terence Crawford and talk about Terence Crawford. That's the only reason our channel exists. So obviously, a lot of people don't follow it, and that's part of the reason, guys, why I asked the question in regards to is our content, you know, diverse enough? Because I think a lot of times people think that this is just an Errol Spence and Terence Crawford show and channel, and they don't necessarily follow all the content. They just see some of the videos that end up popping into their feed because they've been looking up Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And there's a certain individual who I would say is a professional currently in boxing, who believes that all we do is Errol Spence and Terence Crawford content, who clearly doesn't follow the channel, but believe they know everything about YouTube when in reality they don't know shit. But I digress again. Jay, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I said it. And if you're watching right now, I said it. I'm looking right into the camera. I'm saying it. I'm talking to you. Anyway, I shouldn't have did the show today, Jay. It was a bad day to do the show. I'm going to burn a lot of bridges today. Oh, man. Jay, you there? I can't hear you.
Oh, Jay. Shit. Yeah, I'm here. I hit the button by accident.
Oh, okay.
I said, breaking news, Greg, raw and uncut.
Yeah, I'm going to burn a lot of bridges today. Hold on. Somebody said PBC channel. I can tell you right now, Edward Torres, that PBC don't like some of the content that we've said. I can tell you for a fact. For a fact that PBC don't like some of the content we put out, for a fact. And I ain't gonna go into no details, but for a fact, I can tell you that at least a representative from PBC don't like it. So this ain't no PBC channel. Trust and believe. Some of our content was not approved.
We're far from that. Now, still standing on the thing of Bud in a sense. So EJ, we had an EJ sighting. Pierce, he's getting back into training. We dropped the video earlier today, actually, I believe, on this. Some fans saw him going into a Hot Works gym with a bag and whatnot, like he was in workout gear. That place is usually for like hot yoga, Bikram type stuff there. Now, is this the start of him really trying to get back into training right before he gets actually into training? Because we did a video before, we like, their gym's like, well, he's not working out, he isn't going to the gym, and we're concerned about that. So I don't know if this is the start for him to really start ramping things up. I hope so. And I hope that means they're going to be fighting first quarter next year, February, March, hopefully sooner than later. But it was interesting to see that fan to get that picture of EJ going in there. But that's all we knew about that. It didn't say anything about, we didn't see what classes, because they offer cycling, other classes, but they're really known for the hot yoga to help you detox your body and good for flexibility and stretching.
Yeah, this is where Jason really shines, where he can give a level of insight that I couldn't provide whatsoever. I had no idea about any of that hot yoga stuff. If it, a lot of you guys may not know this, but in Jason's younger days, when he had 2 good knees, he was actually a personal trainer. And so a lot of Greg. But your knees are bad. I'm just stating a fact.
I'm trying to be kind right now, Greg. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Man, fuck your kindness. You ain't been kind. Fuck you and your kindness. So
I ain't been kicking when you're down. I've been reading whatever people are saying in the comment section. I've been kind.
Actually, you've been kicking me while I was down off camera, and you've been doing it while you were on camera too. So I ain't trying to hear none of that stupid shit you talking about right now. Now, so Jason, this is where he shines, because he was a physical personal trainer, and he knows a lot about these different areas, man. Physical trainer, personal trainer, wherever the fuck it was you were training somebody. So he knows a lot about this stuff, the hot yoga and the impact and things of that nature. And so it was informative for me that this probably was the kickoff process for Errol Spence getting back in the gym. Jay, what did you say that hot yoga and what they typically do at a gym like that? They're typically working on like flexibility, where they're getting you prepared to almost like warming you up and getting you ready to go into like a training camp, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like working the kinks out before you actually really get in there. It's like pushing weight, start doing high maneuvers, hit type activities as well. I mean, also a good way to detox the body, lose some water weight. A lot of core involved in that. And the ones I've taken before were like that. I looked up what they offer pretty much overall globally. And hey, Jason Williams, don't don't sleep on Pilates. Pilates is one of the best forms of workouts to get your core ready. Trust me.
Jay, let me ask you a question. When you went there, when was that when you went there to like doing the hot yoga?
What you mean when was it?
Like, it was this a few years ago? It was this back in the day?
This is like 5-10 years ago.
5-10 years. What were you getting prepared for?
I was just doing it for myself.
Okay, this was before your bad knees or after your bad knees?
That has no bearing on where I went to it.
I'm just trying to understand, did it help your bad knees or did it hurt your bad knees? I'm just trying to understand.
It helped my core. It helped my core.
What about your knees? What about your knees?
It helped my core and my overall joints all over, not just my knees.
Okay, just making sure. Just want to understand.
Leave my knees. Be like the committee. Leave my knees out of like they left FSU out of the playoffs.
I'm okay with that. You think I'm wounded by that? You think I'm hurt by that? I'm gonna sleep good tonight. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. You know, and you know why I'm gonna sleep good, because my life is good. Sorry, son, bitch.
Hey. He gonna be sleeping in a fetal position with his thumb as corner of the bed. Poor baby.
Anyway,
they left in the rain.
What's next?
But yeah, I mean, we ran through pretty much everything, and how they just got left out. I think, did we leave anything else out?
You funky fuck. All right.
What, man? I'm just simply saying, dog. I'm just simply saying, man. I'm just saying, man. Yeah, we ain't leave nothing out on our to do.
Yeah, man. So I think so let me go ahead and open up the phone lines then. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't know why this thing keeps doing this. I always got to go and do this, all this bullshit to get it up now. I don't know what these cats doing here now. They've added this new, I don't know. But anyway, all right, guys, phone lines open. Jason Williams, if you say anything else about FSU, please, anybody with a wrench, including Jason Williams, kick yourself up out of the chat, you son of a bitch. FSU Walt is in the building, my brother. Somebody who is going to sympathize with me in regards to how they completely screwed us out of the opportunity. Man, shut your sorry sucker ass up, man. Go ahead, FSU Walt. What's going on with you, fam?
Yo, player for you. What's up, Walt?
Dude, it feels like I'm in a hole, brother. I'm hurting. Man. Hurting, dude. I knew Jason was going to have some bullshit to say, man. But
Real quick, Linda Hampton.
Y'all, Mr. Greg, I don't even want to talk about it, bro. I just want to bring up some shit I heard this week on Blue Bud.
Yeah.
If I start talking about FSU, man, I might go outside and hit somebody, man. I'm really hurt.
I feel
but I follow like the Devin Haney things, you know what I'm saying? And Devin Haney's a good fighter, but they try to put this dude on Floyd's level, and you know how Devin had all the belts at 135, and then he said all he does is chase belts, so he goes up to 140 and he's fighting Regis, which is cool. But now they know he's going to 147, and they keep bringing up Keith Thurman. So the other day on Blue Blood, Blue goes, when Devin gets to 147, why Boots got to be there? Why don't he go to 154? There ain't nothing for him there, like because they know what he'll do to Devin.
Exactly.
You know,
he killed Devin.
It's like so keep that same energy for everybody. Don't like. They skating around stuff. Like, to me, even the Regis fight, you taking the fighter that fits what you do the best. It's like Regis is not quick of foot. Like, he would have never took Matias for the first fight. You know what I'm saying? When I heard that Ryan might be leaving De La Hoya to go to Floyd, man, and that'll be some funny ish because Floyd owns De La Hoya, man. It'll make this FSU thing feel a little better for me. And Jason, man, on the way out, man, F you today, man. I ain't even speaking no longer. Y'all take that with y'all.
I appreciate you, Walt. Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in. Let's stick with boxing right now, man. We gotta stop with all the college football stuff. There's gonna be a lot of people that's aggravated in the comment section by doing that. We'll just stick with the boxing for today. Or at least for the rest of the show. You can laugh all you want to. We'll leave it out. Better leave it out. But anyway, man, I want to speak on Errol a little bit, man. Everybody know that we support Errol. It's interesting. I know this is off on a tangent, but people talk about people have abandoned Errol. We don't speak on Errol. We act like Errol doesn't exist. We're talking about Boots versus Crawford. We're talking about Crawford versus Canelo. It's disrespectful to Errol. I've seen that on multiple occasions. I want to address that because Errol's not speaking, dog. Like, how can you create content about Errol Spence when Errol Spence doesn't say anything anymore? And I totally get it. Errol is just completely in the zone, and Errol is just focused on the task at hand, which is getting himself back in shape for Terence Crawford. I can respect that. But as content creators, man, the whole point is to just come on here. It's almost like barbershop talk, man. It's like we got to talk about something. And the sport of boxing and the channel doesn't stop because Errol Spence is not talking. You know, there's really not a whole lot to say about Errol. So I would urge anybody to keep that in mind when they come into the comment section talking about Terence Crawford versus anybody is disrespectful to Errol because Errol got a rematch, or you guys are unloyal to Errol. I mean, honestly, and this is no knock to Errol. I don't want anybody to feel like this is a knock to Errol, but I mean, honestly, channels that supported Errol, we actually need Errol to come out and talk, right? We need Errol to talk because, you know, we supported him and the fight went as the fight went, and, you know, we need his voice out there to help combat some of the, you know, the negative comments that you're getting in the comment section, and it's been a tumultuous, you know, 2 or 3 months where, you know, there's no Errol talking, so forth and so on, and it just it's challenging, Jay. I mean, I feel like it's challenging. What do you think about that? What I'm saying, because I just see that so much in the comment section. It's like, dog, we can't stop talking about what's going on at welterweight because Errol ain't talking.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, it's hard to speak on someone that's not talking. I mean, we can't keep trying to talk for them. We don't know him personally. We don't got his number, you know. So I mean, the only thing we know is the rematch has be activated rematch, and he's been silent. You know, whether he's been doing stuff in the lab behind closed doors or not, we don't know. We just know what DJ said, that he talks to Spence, and Spence isn't in the gym, so that's concerning. You know, if he hadn't said that, then I'd be like, well, I would just assume he's in the gym, he's in the lab, some type of way, you know. But for us to talk about Bud fighting someone else, that's not disrespectful, rematch or not. People always talk about that, talk about the next possible fight for us, any fighter. So it's not no disrespect to Spence, no disrespect to Bud or anyone else, you know. So I mean, if he's not talking or he's not, you know, usually Spence, people try to say, well, Spence never talked before. He has talked before. And we're not saying he needs to talk about Bud, anything like that. We've seen Spence talk about shows. We see Spence talk about fights that he's watching. That's what we're talking about, the engagement of the audience. It doesn't have to be about the fight. We just want to see Spence talking in general, honestly. And we're not saying Spence ain't a shit talker like that. You know what I'm saying? Even when the whole thing with him and Bud and the contract was going on, Spence didn't say nothing the whole time until Bud did the IG live thing. That's when Spence started tweeting and going back off at him. So it was always he was always a reaction. He wasn't the star of it. So that's why we just want to see Spence talk. Cause I follow Spence on all his socials. I'm waiting to see him just say anything. Hey, I'm doing this. Cool. That's what I want to see. You know. Yeah, Mark says Errol promoter ain't even talking. So yeah, I mean, that's all we want for Spence. We don't want to get it twisted thinking that y'all thinking that we want him to go out and just start bashing Bud or anything like that, because that's not Spence style. We just want to still be true to Spence and just do the things he always did beforehand. Last time he posted on Twitter was August 11th. Is that right, Greg? Like August 11th or something like that?
Dog, it's been a minute ago, bruh. It's been a hot minute ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So
yeah, King of 47 said. Yeah, King of 47 said y'all didn't even speak on Virgil saying Spence was off, but supposedly he's favored on this channel. No, we didn't speak on it because there was no reason to speak on it. We kind of talked about that a little bit, and there's really nothing else to say about it, in my opinion. DJ did say Spence not in the gym. Facts. I can appreciate the take, unlike other channels that make up nonsense as if they are getting news directly out of the Spence camp. Yeah, Jason Williams, I see that sometimes too, man. When we say that we heard something, we got it from somebody who we feel is reliable. And sometimes we'll, you know, it depends on who the person is, but, you know, and everything, the thing about it is everything that you get ain't necessarily spot on either, man. So sometimes it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's a tool to have a conversation. I think sometimes people get lost in that, man, that a lot of this stuff is tools to just have conversations. And you know, right now, man, again, I love Spence, dog. Like, Spence is my guy. And to be honest with you, man, Terence Crawford is actually growing on me a little bit too, man. I like the new dreads or the new braids that he got. Man, we've had his cousin on the channel, man. His cousin cool as fuck, dog. Like, his cousin mad cool, bro. Like they cool. So I ain't really got no problem with you know, Terence Crawford in his camp, but you know, I tried as best as I can to keep it 100 on, you know, what we hear and or, you know, my take on a fighter. And I know personally, I've had more I would call them negative takes on Terence Crawford than Errol Spence. Errol doesn't give you a whole lot of ammunition to say something because he doesn't really double talk a lot. Errol really doesn't double talk a lot. Terence double talks a lot, but yeah, you know, it's you know, it's no disrespect to Errol, but it's, dog, the channel got to keep going, and I wish him luck in the rematch. I really want him to win, but people get upset with us because we don't pick him in the rematch. Like, why would we? Why would we pick him in the rematch? There's no reason to pick him in the rematch because of the way that the first fight just played out. And don't get me wrong, we heard that Errol Spence had the rib injury. We were probably the first people to report that he had the rib injury. And we got that from a very reliable source. So little old channel like us, we got it from a very reliable source. We were one of the first ones that reported that Terence Crawford was trying to get more money for a rematch because he was trying to force it at 47 to get the money. We was one of the first people to report that. We got it from a reliable source. But everything that we put out there, man, is conversational pieces. It's not necessarily to disparage a fighter or anything like that. And you know, one of these days, man, you know, I'm gonna travel to Omaha, bro, because, like, you know, the cousin told me, he said, man, you know, they welcome me to Omaha, man. Now, he might be playing, man. I might be swole up like last week if I show up in Omaha. I might get swole up. Cause I can see Terence Crawford putting them hands on my cheeks and not my ass cheeks. Pause. Cause I know people are gonna go there. As soon as that came out of my mouth, I knew that's where that was going.
You talked about his hair earlier, Greg. When you talked about his hair, Jake was like, so is he cute or ...
That's what's that. Jake said, he said that. Oh, that's a good, Jake, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a real good one.
Well, real quick, Greg, just to address a couple people in the chat. So King of 47, we're not going over the Boots. We're not saying Bud need to fight Boots because he beat EJ. We're saying Bud needs to fight Boots if he were to stay at 147. Then he got stripped of the IBF. That's what we're talking about. We're not saying he needs to. We're not just throwing people at Bud to try to get him beat. We want to see Bud in the best fights available. At 147, Boots the best fight available for Bud. We haven't turned our back for EJ neither. Just because if we're in a rematch, if we're picking Bud over EJ, it's logical. It just makes logical sense after the first fight. We can still want Spence to win, but if I'm betting, I'm picking Bud to beat Spence in that fight. There's still ways that Spence can win the fight, but logically, if I'm a bet man, I can't pick Spence over Bud after the first fight.
Yeah, so
we
Jason Williams
keep a buck on this station, on this channel. That's what we do.
We do. Jason Williams said something interesting. He said, "Greg, best believe you get impressed after Bobby Lee all love." His cousin said that. His cousin said that Bud would probably press me. I wouldn't have a problem with that because I would stand on everything that I said and I tell Crawford why I said it. I don't have a problem with being pressed on what I said. And the thing about it is this. I think a lot of times people take stuff out of context because, you know what I'm saying, they'll see 1 or 2 or 3 videos and then they'll come back to this channel and say, you guys had EJ destroying Bud. Ha ha ha. Look how stupid you look. And it's like, anybody that's followed this channel for a very long time, Jason Williams, you're a Crawford fan. John Mack, you're a Crawford fan. Band Up, you're a Crawford fan. if you've been following this channel for a long time, you know that we've been saying for a long time it was a 50-50 fight. I started leaning 51-49 once I started the reach was the same because, you know, I thought Terence Crawford reach was going to always be a challenge for Errol Spence because I thought he had a longer reach. But when the reach looked to be the same to me, I'm like, okay, I think Errol with the pressure will be able to get Terence Crawford. So I'm leaning a little bit more 51-49 Terence Crawford. But, you know, people come in and they make their own narratives up about us and all this other stuff. And they don't really get the purpose of the channel, dog. John Mack, not in the beginning. What do you mean about not in the beginning? Because I'm not sure what you mean by that. Because in the beginning, we were always, maybe you weren't around in the beginning, maybe you're saying? Because John Mack, I swear, boy, it feels like you've been around forever.
Forever.
Yeah. But we were always saying, you know, like, man, you got to come and you got to actually listen to the damn videos, man, and stop listening to the first minute of a video and running out of it and having an opinion about stuff. That's absurd to me, dog.
Yeah, not only that, Greg, if we thought Bud didn't have a chance to win or a path to win, Brenda's husband.
Who's Brenda's husband?
John Mack? What? Man, stop. Stop, man.
John Mack, you're Brenda's husband?
So you've been on here instead of her, huh?
John Mack, where the hell is Brenda? I did not know that. Where the hell is Brenda?
For real. Hell, both y'all should be in here clowning with us.
I did not know that. Holy shit. Damn. I did not know that.
That's why I said, what?
Yo, that's crazy, John. Yeah, like I said, John Mack's another one been around for a long time, dude. Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
That's dope, man. But yeah, I mean, for us to be saying that we're a Spence channel, all this stuff here, everything would have been slanted towards Spence, that Spence couldn't lose in any type of way. We did a video on how Bud can win and how Spence can win. You know, so I mean, the thing, like we said before, the thing that soured me personally on Bud was the way he was moving his business last year. The double talking. I ain't like that. That's the thing I didn't like about it. And before that, when Bud re-signed with Top Rank, it pissed me off because I knew what Top Rank way they treated their boxers. I wanted him to go to another promotion company. It didn't have to necessarily be PBC. I just want to go to another promotion company because you got some of those fights early on. That way, it couldn't have been any problem, you know, different sides of the street, stuff like that. You know, I always respected Bud as a fighter and what he could do in the ring. That's never been changed. I always want to see him against better competition. That's been our issue. You know, and then he beat Spence. Then we're like, okay, he beat the guy that we wanted him to fight.
My thing was with Terence Crawford, and I've said this in the past, but a lot of people get upset when I say this, is that Crawford tries to control the narrative. Like he intentionally tries to control narratives. I mean, he is astute at, adept at, if you will, controlling narratives. Oh, John Mack, she got burnt out with all the negative, not from here, just in general. No, I feel you, John Mack. Because Brenda was like Brenda used to send me emails and make suggestions. Like I was like, man, they were really like a lot of the ideas that we have that you guys have seen on this channel came from Brenda McDonald. Came from Brenda. So yeah, I actually miss her. But damn, I lost my point, man. What was I saying? I'm saying something about Errol Spence, wasn't it? Or Terence Crawford. No, it was Terence Crawford. And my thing about Bud is like controlling the narratives. And I said it in the past. I think he goes out of his way to try to control the narrative. And he's actually pretty good at it. And he's good at, you know, taking information or things that are out there, and he'll piggyback off certain things that are out there because there's already a belief in those narratives, and then he just drives those narratives forward by piggybacking off of them. And to be quite honest with you, got to admire him for doing that, because that shows a level of intelligence where, hey, man, why do I need to create a narrative myself? The fans of mine are creating this narrative, and I just piggyback off of it. And if I ever did meet Terence Crawford, and after he pressed me, and you know, hopefully we'll end on I said press me, dog. That ain't no pause moment. Press me. after he pressed me, and hopefully we get off on, better terms after that, I would ask him, I say, man, off the record, dog. And I never say this on the channel. And people that we've talked to that we said, hey, man, we're not, this is off the record. We're not going to say anything about it. If I would ask him off the record, hey, man, seriously, a lot of those narratives that are out there, you piggyback off those narratives, don't you? And I would not be surprised if we got or I got a yes on that. Now, I know Jason is not brave enough to go to Omaha. I am. I'm brave enough to go right to Omaha. I show right up on the gym step. Nobody but me, 100%, man, because I'm just a real dude, man. I'm just a real dude. You know what I'm saying? Jason fake, but I'm real. So I'm a real dude.
So you're going to leave me out the picture like that?
I mean, you're a real dude, but you ain't going to show up to the gym like that, man. So you got to be gangster to show up to the gym, man. You ain't gangster like that, man.
I go there. Truth be told, if I was go to Omaha,
if you had grew up in St. Pete, I say you'd do it. But since you grew up in Tampa, no.
Here we go with this shit.
No, man.
Go ahead, Greg. What?
Go ahead, man. It's on you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. If I grew up in St. Pete, what?
I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm done.
See, unlike Greg, I don't got no problem meeting Terence Crawford or anything like that. Ain't got no problem. I ain't worried about him impressing me or anything like that. Because I know, for one, Bud ain't that type of dude to just go ahead and try to hit somebody knowing he can lose money. Especially when no one's involved, his family and things like that. So I'm not worried about that. But I'd love to have a conversation with Terence, with Bud.
It is my lender for life, Jerry Soriano. And Jerry, I can't talk to you today because I can't allow you to get my blood pressure up. This is all on Jason.
Greg.
Today. No.
Greg.
What do you want, Jerry? What do you want?
What's going on with you today?
What do you mean what's going on with me, Jerry?
Oh, my God. Wait a second. Did I just hear you say that, well, I probably have said a few more negative things about Crawford than I have Spence? Did you really say that?
Jerry, what do you want, man? What point you making, man?
I mean, were you serious, or were you just filling the air with just content because you're running out of things to talk about?
Listen,
hey.
Yes, I've said more things that are negative about Terence Crawford or unfavorable towards Terence Crawford. Yes, I've said that.
I would say just a few. Hey, listen, when are y'all going to have Jake back on?
Probably in like 2 or 3 weeks. Why? What's going on?
You know what? I know I had to rewind some of the tapes, and I just heard what Jake had said, and I know Jason brought it up last week, and I for some reason his mic was really, really low, but he had asked me a question regarding Henry LeBron and De Los Santos.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was saying, like, well, maybe I just don't know who that is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And that's why I didn't respond. I never heard him. I don't know. His mic was just really, really low. But let me, and I don't know if it makes sense to touch on that now, but here's what I will say.
Mm-hmm.
There is a kind of an underground movement in boxing right now where, and it's coming up subtly, but you'll start seeing it more and more and more, is that you're starting to see a movement of black Latinos moving to the forefront. And let me tell you why that's very, very important. And this is what I was going to talk to Jake about, is that in the Caribbean, just like the rest of the world, you have an influence of African and Europeans. And when you look at Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, on and on and on, you're going to see some that are light-skinned, some that are darker skinned. And what you're seeing now, and I don't know if y'all saw Floyd Schofield come out with his Dominican flag, right? And then you got Sabril Matias, who's a dark-skinned Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
What you're seeing is that a lot of the darker-skinned Latinos who are genetically blessed and are a lot more athletic than their lighter skinned counterparts. Just the way it is. And if you look at De Los Santos versus a guy like Henry LeBron, there is a difference in their athleticism. There is a difference in their punch placement. There is a difference in hand speed. So I'll have that conversation with Jake when he comes on. But De Los Santos will eat up Henry LeBron. There's just a separation in athleticism. There's a separation in quickness, in punching power. He's just a better all-around athlete and has just better skill set. So to answer that question, there's no doubt in my mind that De Los Santos would beat Henry LeBron. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because if you talk about stereotypes, slick black fighter, and like Bob Arum, boxing is one of those sports that you could talk about racist because people are generalized depending on where they're from, the country, so on and so forth, their culture. That's just how it is in combat sports. Unlike any other sport, combat sports, MMA, you can talk about fighters and stereotype or generalize them regarding their culture or race. That's just how it's always been. But the reason why I'm bringing up the black Latino is because the black Latino in boxing is the only boxer that is not afraid of the slick black fighter. Think about it. No one talks about styles. Matias isn't going to go, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight Shakur because he's going to run around. De Los Santos, although that fight was boring as hell, he wasn't going to run from that fight, although Pitbull Cruz ran from him. De La Hoya had a couple of his guys in that at 135 that wanted no parts of Shakur. But De Los Santos did. You look at Kid Schofield now. By the way, that dude is huge. I don't know how long he's going to be at 135. But you look at Schofield. He's going head-to-head with Davis. Not running from that smoke. Subriel Matias. You look at Adames at 160, running straight to the smoke. No one wants any parts of him. I want y'all to keep that in mind moving forward, because I think there's a shift. There's a power shift going on from 160 down. And the black Latinos, other than the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans have had a very, very hard time. They've had a lot of good talent moving through the ranks, and then at some point, their lifestyle, they don't have the correct leadership, and they just fall off the rails and fall off the map. That's what happens to them. But I don't know. Did y'all see Schofield come out as Dominican?
I didn't see the fight, Jay. You might have saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. It was only one round.
Yeah, I mean, but that dude right there, and now I understand why Golden Boy is like, you know what, we may want to let you go ahead and move on to your movie star status, and they may not need Ryan and his kind of. He just seems like he's a little too high maintenance, and I think De La Hoya understands that he's got some guys moving up in the rankings, and he doesn't have to waste time with Ryan anymore. And I know, Greg, you're, and I don't know why people. It's just a trendy thing to get on De La Hoya. But listen, you know one thing that you cannot get on De La Hoya about is that he's in the forefront. He's not scared to answer questions. He's not scared to speak his mind. You know? And I, you can definitely go, you know what? They didn't handle Ryan right, or whatever happened with Canelo. But I mean, Golden Boy has done a lot of good for boxing. When Golden Boy came out, it was Don King, it was Bob Arum, and they came up as the young guys in the game. And I'll tell you this, De La Hoya has made mistakes. He got involved in living life fast, got hooked on drugs, whatever his situation was. He trusted the wrong people. I mean, think about it. Espinosa was his attorney. That's how he got introduced to boxing. Al Heyman was working with him. De La Hoya promoted all of Floyd Mayweather's fights when he was making that money. Spence started underneath De La Hoya. So did all Charlos, all those guys. So it's a little rich. It's a little rich to just sit there and just try to, shit on De La Hoya. But think about everything that's come out of Golden Boy. Think about it.
Hey, Jerry, I want to ask you a question real quick. This is kind of off topic, but I'm just curious about this because your last name is Soriano. So like, what's your family lineage? Like, what's your ethnicity or nationality, or where is your family from?
Dominican.
That's
Dominican Republic.
And that's the reason why I asked you that, because I've seen your picture. Your picture actually shows up on the caller ID when you call in. And I think certain people believe that you are like a white guy. And when I look at you, you're not a white guy.
Hey,
and Soriano is Latino.
There's only one person that believes I was a white guy.
Yeah. I've seen Jerry's pictures, guys, and I get you guys are saying, why Jerry is going off and talking about this stuff. And I get why, because I've seen Jerry's picture. It pops up. Jerry's not a white guy, guys.
Let me give you a little background. All right, I'm a military veteran. I traveled the world. I grew up in New York City. I grew up in the Bronx. I am bilingual. My first language was Spanish, and my parents are immigrants from the Dominican Republic. And if y'all don't know a whole lot about the Dominican Republic is on the island of Hispaniola, which half of it is makes up of Dominican Republic, and the other half is Haiti. Mm-hmm. And that island was established by slaves and Europeans, Spaniards, French. Mm-hmm. Half the island speaks French. The other half of the island speaks Spanish.
Yep.
And my life experiences, I don't see color. I've got companions and friends and from all walks of life. But boxing is one of those sports that culture and race is a makeup of it. And I know sometimes people get uptight talking about it, but it is part of the sport. And a lot of it is because if you're from a certain area of the world, you're taught a certain style, just like Cubans. But the black Latinos from, let's just say, the Dominican Republic, they've had a very hard time. Think about it. All of the most successful Latino fighters that you remember are mostly Puerto Rican and Mexican. Whereas the Dominican Republic has had a lot of talent, but they just can't sustain it. And so De Los Santos is one of those guys that he's a late bloomer, and that's what I was going to talk to Jake about, because he did lose a fight. It was his last 8-round fight. He ran out of rounds, and it was a split decision loss. But he's that guy, and I'm telling you, he's one of those guys. And I just heard that Tank may fight him. And I don't know if it's a wild rumor, but I heard that Tank may pick up that fight. And that does make some sense, because if for some reason Tank goes in there and he steamrolls him, he'll send the shout out to Shakur. But I would say Tank needs to be careful with that one. He needs to be careful with that one. I don't know if that's the style that he wants to, because that's going to be a straight shootout. And it's just going to be based on hand speed, athleticism, foot speed. And I don't know if Tank really wants that kind of struggle, But I don't know if that answers your question. But no. I was going to have that conversation with Jake because Henry LeBron is a talented guy. But there are some glaring differences between Henry LeBron and Edwin De Los Santos. Physically, athletically, hand speed. I mean, you name it. He's got that twitchy athleticism that a lot of boxers don't have, and a lot of boxers stay away from it because it's hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with. Does that answer your question?
It does. I wanted to make it clear for people because, you know, I've been under the impression over the last several weeks that people think you're white. And I remember you saying this before, and again, your picture shows up on my caller ID, and I wanted to make it clear that the reason why Jerry's probably talking about Dominicans and Latino fighters is because he's Latino. This is
yeah, for sure. But also let them know that I am handsome, by the way.
Okay.
But the other thing I wanted to touch on is last week we talked about back and forth about Crawford, Benavidez, and Canelo, and this, that, and the other. And I wanted to say this. And my last point I get off. But I by no means want to see Crawford versus Canelo over Benavidez versus Canelo. I think Benavidez versus Canelo is naturally the fight that most want to see, okay? Especially after what he did to Andre, okay? However, I do believe that Canelo and Crawford is a huge fight as well, and that fight will do well with pay-per-view numbers. And I know that you know, we had this thing back and forth about cachet, but let me just tell you right now, Canelo and Charlo did 700,000 buys or something like that. There's no doubt in my mind that Crawford and Canelo will do well over 1 million. And so both fights will be successful as far as pay-per-view numbers. But no, without a doubt, I'd rather see Canelo and Benavidez first. But if that's not going to happen, it has to be Canelo Crawford. And honestly, I have a strange feeling that that's going to happen because I don't think Canelo is going to fight Benavidez. And I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but I just don't see it, man. That fight's all wrong for him, and he's going to go out like Muhammad Ali versus Larry Holmes if he takes that fight. He's going to go out looking bad. He lost to Bivol, but he still was able to maintain and retain some of his mystique because he didn't get beat down. He fights Benavidez, he's going to get beat down. And all his weaknesses, he can't deal with volume. He can't deal with activity. The way he punches in 1-2 two-punch combinations max, that's not going to work against Benavidez. But anyway, all right, my friends, I'm going to hang up and listen to the rest of the show. Greg, I hope somehow I woke you up a little bit, man. We need you. We need you, buddy. Get back on the horse, man.
I appreciate
Enjoy
you,
your
Jerry.
Sunday, my friends. We'll talk soon.
All right, talk to you later, Jerry. That's Jerry Soriano. So I'll comment on a few things. Number one, guys, I like for people to get their opportunity to talk. Right, you got to get your opportunity to talk when you call in. So that's very important for us. So everybody that calls in, they have a voice. The channel is about having a voice. The channel is about us challenging you and you challenging us. So you got to have a voice. So Jerry's going to get the opportunity to talk as much as he wants to. It's you know, as long as nobody else is calling in. But Canelo versus Crawford would not do 1 million buys. I think it does less than Canelo versus Jermell because we've seen a small fighter fight Crawford. Fight Canelo. 206, you in the building with the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. What's going on with you, fam?
Salute Jason and Greg and the AM Podcast and everybody in the chat, man.
What's going on, Bando?
You know, it's your boy Bando, man. You guys gonna have to give me this. So, why we just beat somebody that was ranked number 5, right?
Yeah.
And Michigan faced somebody that was ranked less than their opponent was ranked less than number 5, right?
Correct.
Why the hell are we number 1?
Washington should be ranked number 1. And that in and of itself suggests to you that there is a bias towards the Big Ten and the SEC, because right now what the committee has just told everybody across the nation that there's a de facto 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah, and this is why when you asked me was it last week or the week before that, is there anybody outside the Banda or the city of Seattle that believes in UW? This is why, because they always do this to us. And I don't know how well, how often, you know what I mean, you pay attention to Seattle sports, but you know what I mean, I'm a homer, so you know I pay attention. When the Seahawks are doing good, they don't ever talk about us. I promise you. They don't ever want to bring us up when it's about basketball. They don't ever want to. They probably bring us up when it's about the Manners. But if you know Seattle's luck, the Manners ain't ever gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it comes to that. So but they always sleep on Seattle. And Washington and UW Huskies is the same way. A couple years ago when we was like, I think we were number 5 or number 4, and we were doing good, everybody slept on us. Yeah, we lost, I understand that, but everybody was sleeping on us. This time we're coming out, we have a way better team than we had a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, Texas lost us last year, and we got better. Even if they got better, we got better than what they've gotten compared to the record. So you might as well just write us in there. We gonna take care of Texas. Texas ain't nothing.
I hope y'all do. I think Texas is being propped up by Alabama win. Alabama is not that good because they struggle with Auburn, USF, and Texas A&M. And the ACC beat the brakes off of the SEC this year. So there's no reason to elevate the SEC and give all this benefit of the doubt to that. In prior years, I get it. I totally get giving benefit of the doubt to the SEC. This year, not so much.
All right, and that's what I got far as what's it called? Far as Washington. I don't got too much boxing talk, but I got something to say to what you said. You said I remember you saying that if Crawford was to go up and try to challenge Canelo or whatever, you said everybody in that division should be up for grabs, right?
Yes.
And that he shouldn't be able to skip the line, right?
Yes.
What did Francis Ngannou just do?
That wasn't for a belt.
I understand it wasn't for the belts. It might not be for the belts, but even if Canelo don't put his belt up, I think Crawford would still go for the fight.
He would.
Honestly.
I don't think so. He wouldn't.
You don't think he would?
He wants legacy. No, because what's the point in taking that risk of fighting Canelo if you're not going to dispute it? He
might take the money. He might take the money.
Because I was going to say, if what's the called beats the brakes off of him, Benavidez beats him up. I still think that's a sellable fight for Crawford and Canelo.
Let me ask you a question. What exactly does Canelo benefit from fighting Terence Crawford?
I don't think he. I don't know. I don't think he benefits too much, but I do think there is some benefit because of Terence Crawford. If he beats Terence Crawford, something that nobody else has been able to do, I still think I don't think he doesn't get no credit for that.
So you think him moving up 3 weight classes and Canelo doing them exactly like he did? You don't think there's going to be a narrative?
At that time it would be 2. I think at the time he would move up, it would be 2 weight classes, not 3.
Yeah, even if it's 2 weight classes, my point remains the same. Like, he was a guy that was fighting for the vast majority of his career, or at least not the vast majority of his career, but at least the vast majority of the last 5 years, he's been at welterweight. So all of a sudden he goes and fights at 154. And then he moves up to 168. Man, that fight is not sellable, dog, outside of him going up and beating somebody at 168 already. That's the reason why I'm like, go up there and fight somebody at 68, even if it's not like one of the best fighters at 168. Like, dog, you got to go up there and show something, dog, because, people keep talking about, oh, well, Errol, you guys didn't have a problem with people talking about Errol versus Canelo. Well, number one, we actually did. We thought Errol would lose that fight. Errol's style does not match up well with somebody who's a lot bigger than him. Because Errol is more so about pressure, being stronger, pushing you back. That's not going to work against Canelo. So I always had an issue with that. But number 2, when you have more information band up, you make different decisions. You think of things differently. We have more information now. You got a Charlo who's been fighting at 154, who could easily move up to 160, who's taller, who has the same amount of range as Terence Crawford, who can easily add more weight, who should be bigger and stronger. We've had the example of him moving up and doing terribly. So why would you make the mistake again? Like, you need to actually move. If you're gonna move somebody up, they need to move up, demonstrate that they can actually fight at the weight first, and then get in the ring with Canelo.
I don't think Charlo has the slightest of skill set what Terence Crawford brings. That's fine. The difference. So I think
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But still, we just saw a smaller guy.
I think they differ in their regards. But let me.
Can I ask you a question, Banda? Who do you think is probably going to be more durable? A guy that's 6'1", who naturally fights at 154 and could possibly fight at 160, or a guy that's 5'8" and moving up from 147? Who do you think is probably going to be more durable?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. The muscle mass and you know what I mean. Everything should be different. You should be able to even, you know what I mean, endure powerful hits as a bigger body frame. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But with that being said, I fight. I mean, me myself. I fight, you know, guys smaller than me. Short guys can't take hits. You know what I'm saying? Smaller. It's not always about the muscle mass. Short guys can't take hits and still overpower. So I think that's just more about personal preference on which one of them wants to stay in there. Because even Crawford was like, even if I can't you know, I think he alluded to, even if he did get hit with something by Canelo, he's not going to do what Jamel did. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to run away like he did. You know what I mean? I think.
Can I ask you a question? So Terence Crawford admitted that Canelo versus David Benavidez is a 50-50 fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Terence Crawford fans say that Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez, but he can't beat David Benavidez, or David Benavidez is too big. So why should Terence Crawford get the opportunity to fight either one of them? Because if Canelo's too big, regardless of their height, if Canelo's too big, then David Benavidez is too big. They don't have.
I think that's kind of what people are going to. It's like, well, you know what Fury did to Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Like he leaned up on him every time they entangled. You know what I mean? It was, you know what I mean, Wilder having to, you know what I mean, pretty much put Fury on his shoulder. You know what I mean? Type. You know what I mean? Because how he's just leaning up on him, and I think that wears on the fighter. I think that type of. I'm not saying Benavidez is that type of fighter, but I think he can do that. You know what I'm saying? If he wanted to, and you know, he tired Crawford out a little bit faster than what he could do with Canelo. Like I said, Canelo, he's kind of like thicker. You know what I mean? So that's why I think Crawford feels like it's a 50-50 fight, because he feels like. Go ahead.
Everybody believes that because they're the same stature in terms of height. Oh, it's like he's fighting a 54-pounder. It's not. If you would have taken a 5'10", 175-pounder and put them in the heavyweight division with Mike Tyson, they would have gotten blasted. Blasted. It's not the height, weight, and reach division. It's the weight division for a reason. It's the weight division for a reason. It's not the height, weight, and reach division. It's the weight division. So people think that, because the height and the...
Take that analogy, right? It's not the height, weight, and reach division. It's the weight division, right?
Yeah.
But there is that. That's nothing's 100%, and there is that percentage of chance where those other things, those other attributes, take over that weight. You know what I mean? Dude, I've seen it plenty of times. You know what I mean? Dude, naturally just bigger, and that smaller guy just touched them up in the right way.
So let me ask you a question.
You know what I mean? Probably the other 7 out of 10 times you would have won, but those 3 times, you know what I mean? You touched him up because he was superior.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Give me one example.
I'm gonna shoot this one out, but I want you to ask your question. For Crawford fans, you know what I mean? What's hard for us? We haven't seen our guy have to really get up and get hurt. You know what I mean? I know what we're going to say, the Sean Porter and the Kambosos, but no, nobody's really made this man have ow, this hurts, and we're going to have to throw it. You know what I mean? So telling a Crawford fan that is kind of hard for us to see, because this dude has the complete package of offensive skills. You know what I'm saying?
I understand. Let me ask you this. Name one example in the history of the sport where a guy, regardless of, because I get what you're saying, because people want to keep saying skills, the skills. Name one example in the history of the sport where a fighter has moved up 3 weight classes and beaten one of the top fighters in that division. Name one example.
I can't do it. Nobody's probably done that.
because it's never been done, and there's a reason why there are weight classes. Because at some point, no matter how skillful you are, a guy being bigger is an advantage, and you won't overcome that. And I've heard people talk about Terence Crawford sparring 175 pounders, but I'm sorry, Canelo Alvarez is a pound for pound fighter. You're not gonna move up 3 weight classes and beat a pound for pound fighter. I don't care who you are.
The pound per pound fighter. The pound for pound fighter. That's what you see. The pound, fighting a pound for pound fighter, but you're talking about the pound for pound fighter.
No. You missed my point. You missed my point. I'm not talking about Terence Crawford right now.
I get you, man. I'm just throwing it off.
Yeah, I'm talking about Canelo. Canelo Alvarez is ranked like number 4, number 5. So I don't care. Yeah, you are the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Inu is number 2. So should we move him up to face Canelo? If it's just about skills, it's just about skills. Only thing that matters is skills. So then hey, move a flyweight up. A flyweight is more skilled than a heavyweight. At some point, weight matters.
No, just move the fight.
Yeah, it matters. It matters, Greg. It matters. I just think Crawford, and I'm with him. I just think Crawford sees a little something in Canelo that he can get to, and that he can exploit.
Maybe he can, but you know what? I have my last question. I have let's say Canelo Alvarez. Let's say Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez, and but we all know that he get blasted by David Morrell or David Benavidez. He goes up, he beat Canelo Alvarez because some advantage somehow that he has because they're of the same stature in terms of height and reach. Would you say that that's a legitimate 3-time undisputed when you can't beat anybody else in the division and it's just a special circumstance where you can beat one freaking fighter in the division?
I would say
is that legit?
That man went up. I would say that man went up and beat the brakes off of Canelo, and that's where I would leave it at.
Okay.
Because I do. Hey, you know what's crazy? Nobody's ever put it that way. Nobody's really ever put it that way, and it does seem a little far-fetched that, out of everybody, you can probably beat this one guy, but hey, how does that one guy have everything else? You know what I mean? Have all the, but then again, you can really rebalance and be like, well, this guy skipped around and then fought this guy, and that's how he has everything. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying. I get how you can point out that way.
Let me add one thing. Jason Williams just made a comment in the comment section. Yep, Roy beat one heavyweight champion. He couldn't beat anyone else. Hey, Jay, how many people really consider Roy Jones a heavyweight champion? Regardless of him winning that belt against John Ruiz, how many people truly felt like Roy Jones is the heavyweight champion of the world?
On paper.
Only on paper. Nobody thought he was really a heavyweight champion because we knew Lennox Lewis would have knocked his ass into the 18th row. Nobody really considered that. Nobody today talks about Roy Jones being heavyweight champion. Everybody talks about Roy Jones' time at 175. It's an illegitimate heavyweight championship.
You know who talk about it? Roy talk about it.
He can talk about it as much as he wants to, but nobody else does. You're not getting the recognition that you think you're gonna get because everybody thinks that if he got in the ring with David Benavidez, he would destroy Terence Crawford, destroy him. So you're not a legitimate champion, even if you could move up to Canelo and beat Canelo Alvarez, which I don't think you can.
I think for Crawford, it's more of a name in the books, you know what I mean? Saying he did this, you know what I mean, type of thing.
Exactly. So he's not a legit, Roy Jones isn't a legit heavyweight champion. If Terence Crawford could somehow, in any way, shape, or form, move up and beat Canelo Alvarez, he would not be considered a legitimate super middleweight champion. And why would we want anybody as the undisputed super middle, not just the middleweight champion, the undisputed middleweight champion, who we know that there's 2 or 3 fighters behind him that would knock his ass into the 20th row. It's stupid.
I mean, sticking together. I mean, I don't know about the Morrell dude. I don't really know who that guy is. I know
Morrell.
Because of the size thing. Definitely.
Let me tell you, Morrell is the same height and can fight like Benavidez. He'll beat the shit out of Terence Crawford.
Oh my God! Yeah, these guys are just tall at that division, too tall. And then, like you said, they only weigh that weight for one night, right?
Yeah, probably.
They go up once they get the ring.
I don't want Terence Crawford to move up to 168 pounds. I don't want to see him lose in that fashion. I don't want to see him lose like that. There's no benefit in him moving up and getting crushed by somebody. There's no benefit in when I talk about David Benavidez, I use it as an example to stop the stupid Terence Crawford narratives that his fans put out there. This has nothing to do with Terence Crawford. It has everything to do with stupid narratives. And I don't want to see Terence Crawford go up there, skip 3 weight classes. Then when he get beat up, everybody going to talk about, well, he was just too small. So then why would Canelo ever why would he do that? I'm not going to fight a guy coming up 3 weight classes for what? There's no benefit in it. Specifically and especially when I'm going to earn a minimum of $50 million no matter what I do. Why would I do that?
They're paying that, man. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they would take, I think he does get some credit for beating Crawford. I don't think he just doesn't get nothing. Because, like I said, I don't really see, I think the narrative would also be that I don't see nobody in that 54 division beating him either. You know what I mean? Unless you guys, you know what I mean? Unless you guys want to sit here and say some Tim Zoo or whatever you guys. But,
talking about 54?
That's just I don't see anybody really in that division wiping them out. So
I agree with 54.
think you can look at it as a guy that's the best in the last 2 divisions up under you if you ain't going for that.
Well, hold up. Fundora would give him problems.
Who?
Fundora would give him problems.
I'm gonna look dude up, and I'm gonna come back next week when my analysis. But I don't see no Tim Zoos and none of them other guys really giving him. Actually, to be real with you, Mel beat him, but if Mel didn't win, I actually think Castano might have gave because his pace. That man's pace, and he was actually kind of like putting, you know what I mean, Mel on the ropes a little bit, but you know what I mean, Mel figured out Castano and knocked him down. But I thought that Castano won. I'm like, ooh. You know what I mean? He could have had some things, and if Crawford would have moved up at that time, that probably would have been an interesting fight.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let you guys go, man. We're gonna tap in, and you know what I mean. My UW, you know, we just gonna win the national championship. I gotta get Jason. There. I got Greg. I gotta get Jason on the. You know what I mean? Come with the UW, man. Michael Penix Jr., man. You know what I mean? We gonna get it.
I'm on it, man.
Big Blue. Big Blue.
Bro, and we helped those boys. We helped them to nothing. Did you see we helped that quarterback? He had 8 yards in the whole first quarter. Like, talk about a hotter start than that. Oh my God, we was killing them. And then they came back, and then we had to put them in the bed again.
I feel you. Appreciate you, band up.
Yeah, absolute AM podcast.
All right, man. Later.
Yeah.
All right, Merlone, why can't Bud do what Canelo does and get credit? I'm not sure what you mean when you say Canelo. Why can't Bud do what Canelo does? What does Canelo do that Bud cannot do? I'm not quite sure. Appreciate the $2 though, bro. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
You see Santos' statement?
Santos. John Mack, there are ranked
Santos says, let's see here. Santos said, not sure if you agree, but I think a focused Tony Harrison at 154 would have given Bud problems. So why are we talking about Canelo versus Bud? I can agree with that because a focused Tony Harrison is a slick ass boxer, got the length and the range. He's just chinny. That's the only thing with Tony Harrison. And Bud can still crack at 147, 154. But it'll be a good fight. I don't agree with you, Greg, with Fundora giving Bud problems though. He's there to be hit too easy.
Oh dang, man! I forgot to put the freaking number up, man. Hold on. Merlone wants to call in. Merlone, give me 1 second, cause I had shut down. Come on, Greg, you got to be faster than this. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know Fundora has the height and everything, but he gives it up. He gives up his height. He gives up his reach in the fights, and Bud will capitalize off of that.
Yeah, maybe, but I still have Fundora giving him a lot of problems. So the number is 404-913-0873. Let me open up the line.
Band up.
What happened?
Band up said, yeah, only real ones got the number. I just don't see Fundora being able to keep Bud at bay. Fundora's just going to give it a fight like a small guy.
203, you're in the building with the Angry Man Podcast. What's going on with you, fam?
I'm all right. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, this Merlone?
No.
Oh,
no.
damn. Oh, my bad. Okay, go ahead.
You just all right. Well, I'm listening to this show, and I feel like y'all speaking on this matchup between Crawford and Canelo as if the fans is the reason this is even a topic. This is
Facts.
Bud Crawford's idea.
Facts.
So why do y'all keep, saying this and putting it back on the fans? Like, how do y'all come up with this crazy idea? This is ludicrous. Like, y'all acting like Bud doesn't believe he can do this.
He did that first.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard me, but so therefore, and the super chatter was saying, how come Canelo can do it, but Bud can't? He meant, how come we allowed Canelo to move up from 47 to where he is today? But it's like y'all are not giving Bud that same opportunity to, basically do the same thing. I know Bud is jumping like 3 divisions to get there.
There you go. There you go.
Still.
There you go. That's the issue. Canelo moved up from 54 to 60, 60 to 68. And Canelo was the biggest name in the sport. So he has a level of cachet that's going to force a fight, going to force fighters to fight him once he gets into the division. They're going to take that payday. I've said this on multiple occasions that when you move up, the people that move up and get those opportunities are the ones that are like huge pay-per-view stars, like a Floyd, like a Canelo. Terence Crawford at best is a pay-per-view star, not a superstar. And that's at best. That's pushing it. So, he's not going to just move up like that. Yeah,
I agree. He's not that type of superstar, but that's why he deserves to be, and that's why he wants to come and get an opportunity against somebody like Canelo after he beat Spence, so he could get the recognition that he deserves for the quality of fighter that he is, because he's up there with those guys, but he just hasn't got his opportunity. But I don't really love the fight, but it's very interesting, and it will be nice to see. So I would support the fight if they were to fight. And you never know what's going to happen. But I feel like you asked earlier, give an example of a fighter that has done that in the past, and I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Roberto Duran had a crazy jump like that.
He moved up from 35 to 47, and I think that's when they only had the 8 weight classes, right? Or did they have?
I'm not really sure.
But he was moving up.
Like,
he moved from 35 to 47. In today's terms, it will be two weight classes. But again, the smaller you are, the smaller the difference between those weight classes. So that's all. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is. That's true. Like 30 to 35 is different than I hear you. It's from 5 pounds. Now you start to move up like 7 or 8 pounds each division. I get that. I get why this is. We seen what happened to Charlo. So I feel like if Charlo would have did better, we would have been more open to it. But
Facts.
the way Charlo looked, it kind of discouraged even me from wanting to see that fight, because it was like the power was so much. It was just like the smaller fighter really couldn't even fire back without risking his damn life damn near. But Bud is a different type of fighter with different type of heart and determination, skills. Like I would like to see it, and I feel like skills pay the bills. But obviously, there is weight classes for a reason. But it's a point where you get diminishing returns. If you just because you got skills, that don't mean anyone could move up to fight a 47-pounder or a 54-pounder, because that's just asking way too much. But we could ask anyone possibly to move up to 35 one of these days and fight a Shakur Stevenson or something like that. So I feel like, long as it's not too outrageous, it could be done. Maybe Bud moves up and he gets beat, but we never know. I'll give him a chance. Like I would support the fight, and it's not us fans just being crazy, like pushing this. We're supporting what Bud pushed. Bud went on Joe Rogan and made this thing a potential reality, not the fans.
I agree. That's the reason why I've been saying for a while that there's no real demand for it, because if you look at Mexican and Mexican Americans who make up the vast majority of the Canelo fan base, they don't have an interest in seeing Terence Crawford like that. They don't really care about Terence Crawford like that. So, but people are trying to make it because they live in a bubble where they follow all these, these channels where Terence Crawford is brought up a lot. then they believe that, oh, there's a real demand out there. No, man, that's content creators trying to create content for certain things that they know certain people will at least look at, because there's not a whole lot of other things that are out there. And Terence Crawford was probably the hottest name out there after the Errol Spence fight. But as you've noticed right now, that with Canelo Alvarez, since Canelo's not fighting, how many outlets have you seen talking about Canelo versus Terence Crawford? That buzz is gone completely because there's other topics to talk about now.
No, it's drying up, certainly drying up. But and I also
fight at 168.
Can you say that again?
It's a better fight at 168 with Benavidez versus Canelo instead of Bud versus Canelo. I think that's a better fight at 168. Sure. That's a more even plan for you.
Yep, agreed.
Benavidez versus Canelo. Oh, yeah, that's what we really want to see. That's where the demand truly is. But who knows? But I do feel like just because potentially that Bud will get destroyed by Benavidez doesn't mean that Bud could really. There's no reason for him to go up there and fight Canelo, because you say what your theory is. He's not a true champion because he really can't clean out the division and really compete with some of the bigger 68-pounders. So therefore, it's like an asterisk around it if he did become a champion. And that with that being true, there's still the fact that individually, both of those guys are like boxing, like the upper echelon of boxers. So just to see them match up and get a winner out of the two is satisfying enough to where we don't need Bud to basically campaign in the division to say that he's truly competitive at that weight class. It's enough for us to see them match up, and if Bud did win, that would be rewarding enough for him. I wouldn't have any interest in him staying there and campaigning there to show that he's a true 68, champion. Like just like Roy Jones getting that title at heavyweight, just accomplishing that is enough. I don't need to see him fight Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, or anyone who was there at the time. Just getting that was enough for me.
So then are you cool? So yeah, not for me either. So would you be cool with him just fighting Canelo for no titles? Because how about Canelo fight Benavidez first, and if Canelo beats Benavidez, then he fights Terence Crawford. If he loses to Benavidez, Canelo can fight Terence Crawford for no titles.
I would be okay with that too. Yeah, if that was like Canelo's walk into the sunset fight, he lost Benavidez, and he just gives us this fight. I don't know what type of demand it would have if Benavidez ruins him, but I would be okay with them fighting for no titles, because for me. When they did the undisputed versus undisputed, they like made that a point of advertisement when they were building the fight. That doesn't move me. So the matchup in itself is good enough for me. I don't really need the titles. Don't make it any bigger for me, So that's me personally. I do believe in titles. I'm not one of those people who say they don't matter. But when two superstars are going head to head, I don't need it. I don't care who has the titles. Like, if Errol Spence and Bud rematch, it doesn't matter to me if they would have did it at 47 for undisputed again, or they do it at 54 for, nothing. The matchup is intriguing enough. The titles are not going to do anything for me. So, yeah, I would still be interested, and it wouldn't be better or worse. But, I appreciate y'all coming in on a Sunday for us. And I'll keep tuning in. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, appreciate you, fam.
No problem. Later. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Merlone, give us a call, man, so that we can wrap this one up. Go ahead, Jay.
Greg, though, the thing is, if Benavidez fights Canelo, he beats Canelo, it kills the value of Canelo fighting Bud. Just like losing to Canelo.
I don't disagree. 904. Is this Merlone?
Nah, it's not. I mean, if you want me to, I'll hang up and let him come on, because I know he's been trying to get on.
Yeah, Merlone, put your area code in the chat. But go ahead, bro. No, we're gonna take your call.
Yeah, this Daddy P with Slap Happy Gorilla. What?
What's happening with you, fam?
I'm back at it, man. Look,
what's happening?
Hey, I respect the show. I watched the show. I called in a couple times in the past, but man, I respect y'all show, man. Big up, man. Y'all got a real good outlet.
I just want to say, man, I'm a Terence Crawford fan, but I'm a fan of the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
And just to be real, man, I do not want to see anybody, Terence Crawford included, fight Canelo Alvarez. I want to see Benavidez and Canelo. Because what we doing when we do that, we giving Canelo the power to continue to fight anybody except a 168-pounder.
Yep.
I mean, if we keep pushing that, I mean, that's not – see, it would be different if he didn't have all 4 titles. And I understand for Terence Crawford, that's what's intriguing. He want to beat him for them 4 titles. He want to beat him for a legacy and for the name. But at the same time, look, Canelo Alvarez, and I don't have nothing against him per se, except that he done been caught cheating and all that. Other than that, man, look, if you have an advantage to, like, his name, like the stardom that he has, I mean, by all means, use it. Because if I had it, I would use it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. But at some point, you have to hold these guys accountable to something because, man, in other words, like, okay, we keep criticizing the sanctioning bodies for not doing this and not doing that. But when it comes to Canelo, for some reason, people don't mind. Oh, yeah, I want to see Crawford. But we still giving that engine, like, fuel. You know what I'm saying? If we want to – I mean, I don't want to see that, though. I don't want to see that. I really believe Canelo Alvarez needs to, not September, not, oh, yeah, let him fight Munguia. No, I don't want to see him fight Munguia. I don't want to see him fight nobody but Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's simply the fact that this guy has all 4 belts. He got all 4 belts. Now, he fought Jermell Charlo. I know why. Everybody know why he fought Jermell Charlo. But, man, look, Jermell Charlo was not a 168-pounder, and it's unfair for the guys that's been there campaigning at the weight for somebody like, you know, like you say, Greg, with that cachet, you know, he able to just do whatever he want to do. It's unfair to them guys. So let's push that. Let's push Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez. Man, look, and maybe, I mean, if he fight Morrell, okay, but I want to see him fight Benavidez. Benavidez is the interim champion for the WBC. So, man, let's see that, man. You know, I mean, that's all. That's all I really wanted to say. And I'm a Terence Crawford fan. But, man, look, as a fan of Terence Crawford, you know, hey, he kind of in limbo. He got that thing with Errol Spence. Everybody keep overlooking that. Like, he still got contractual problems with Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? So a lot can happen when, you know, after he fight Errol Spence, it's a whole, y'all know how boxing go. We got a niche sport that we love. So it's like, once a fight happens, then all of the talk the buzz comes after that fight. So after Crawford, a lot of people really don't want to really see that fight. But I respect Spence enough to say, okay, yeah, let's see that fight because Spence won it. You know what I'm saying? But after that, it's going to be a different type of buzz around his name, depending on if he wins. Now, everybody's thinking like, oh, yeah, Crawford just go in there and demolish Spence again. But whatever happens, we'll have to wait until that fight happens, and then we'll see what's next for Terence Crawford. You know, we never know what's going to happen in 54, you know what I'm saying, to make a different type of buzz for him going and trying to clean out that division. Like y'all were just having a conversation about, you know, if he could beat Fundora, you know, the different guys at that division. But, you know, whatever the case may be, no. And, yeah, Roberto Duran moved up a couple weight classes and beat Sugar Ray Leonard. But, no, I don't want to see nothing but Canelo Benavidez. That's it. But, hey, big up to the Angry Man podcast, man. I appreciate y'all guys. Hey, big up to the whole chat. This Daddy P, I'm out of there.
Appreciate you, fam. Thanks for calling in.
10, folks.
Merlone, man, what is your area code, man?
Area code.
Man, Jason Williams is crazy. So Jason Williams believed that somehow Terence Crawford fighting in a different weight class because he has accomplishment at a lower weight class, 3 weight classes below, somehow should skip the line over David Benavidez because David Benavidez made a mistake in his career at some point, even though in his last 2 fights he's beaten the top 2 super middleweights at the division. Make that shit make sense. That is nuts, man.
Yes, not going up that many weight classes too.
That is nuts.
3 weight classes.
A guy that's not a pay-per-view superstar that doesn't bring any super level of revenue coming in. Somehow he deserves to do it moving up 3 weight classes versus somebody who's actually in the division, who's beaten the top super middleweights in his last 2 fights. Man, that is crazy freaking logic, dude. Merlone, what's going on with you, fam?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Love the show, man. So I want to clarify, like, I guess in reverse. So my last point about the Canelo situation. The reason why I mention that is because you guys are looking at it from, like, I guess, like the Bud man fans, I guess, and from Bud's standpoint. But I look at it from Canelo's standpoint. My first point about, there is a major benefit to Canelo in fighting Bud. But the funny thing is, I don't believe that him, Eddie Reynoso, and his team, I don't think they can beat Bud. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really think they want to go anywhere near Bud. Because usually, if you look at how Canelo moves his career, Bud is the exact fight that Canelo would use to avoid fighting David Benavidez. If you look at how he's moved and how he's hopscotched through these divisions, fighting certain champions, Bud actually represents the fight that Canelo would take. You know what I mean? The same reason he fought Jermell Charlo. It was so he could basically book a fight so he wouldn't have to face the other killers in the division. That's what Canelo always does. So I don't even look at it from like what Bud's fans are saying. I think that, honestly, Canelo does not want to go. Him and Reynoso are very smart at matchmaking. They screwed up twice. But the reason he fought Bivol was, again, it was to avoid fighting the other 168-pounders. He didn't want to fight David Benavidez, even though a side note to that is I think he might have missed the window to beat Benavidez. I mean, I know you guys think he still would beat him. I think if he had fought David before Caleb Plant, Canelo would probably beat him. But I think with the things that David has been working on, he's reached like a sweet spot in making that weight. And he's also worked on the skill. So he has like real sloppy feet, but I mean, I got to give the man his credit. I mean, he works really hard, and I believe that he's at a point where Canelo, he kind of missed that window to be successful against David. But yeah, I honestly think Reynoso, they know who and when to fight certain people, and I truly feel like they think they could possibly win against Bud, but I really don't think they can beat. I don't think he would win against Bud. That's just me personally. I don't want to see the fight, but I don't think he could beat Bud, and that's just me being real. But I think a lot of it has to do with the logic that, with respect to you guys, I think the logic that you guys are using, you can apply that same logic to Canelo. The only difference with Bud and Canelo is Canelo's a cash cow. But if you look at how he's navigated his career, if he had fought the main guys in these divisions, he wouldn't have moved up to 160 or 168. If he had fought Andrade at that time, his career would have been stunted. I truly believe that, whether it would have been a rough win or it would have been a tough loss. I mean, in my opinion, he lost to GGG the first time around. But if he had moved up and was fighting like David Benavidez when he moved up to 168, I don't even think he moves into that division if David doesn't get caught with the cocaine and then misses weight. He doesn't even move up to 168. And then he fought Bivol because basically Bivol's not a killer. He's a great fighter, but Bivol's not a killer. Bivol could have probably stopped Canelo if he was a more aggressive fighter. You know what I mean? I mean, no one wants to say that because everyone gives Canelo a lot of grace, but let's be real. If Bivol was a killer, he would have probably stopped Canelo. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of things. I think, honestly, I like the way you guys look at it. I don't want to see the fight, but if we're playing devil's advocate, it's a reason why Canelo is not mentioned in Bud's name, because Bud is the exact type of, excuse my language, but bitch fight that Canelo would take to avoid fighting the other guys in his division. So you guys got to give me your thoughts on that.
I can't argue your point. I'm my personal opinion. That's actually a fair statement. I don't know if I can't necessarily say whether or not Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez believe they can beat Terence Crawford or not. I can't say that, but you do have to wonder why, because that is his nature. His nature is to take the easy way out, And Deuce Davis gonna get pissed about that, but that is his nature, Jay.
That's why he went to Europe.
Yep. What's your thoughts on that, Jay?
That's why he went to Europe. And I mean, people just keep killing me talking about David don't deserve it. What did Amir Khan do? What did Artie Urim do? What did Billy Joe Saunders do? None of those guys were worthy. You can't tell me. You can look at their fighting. They weren't worthy. They told David what they told David to do. Why don't they fight each other? He fought Caleb Plant. He fought Boo Boo. He's the Mando now. He's been a Mando for 2 years. So, I mean, there's nothing more he can do. And that's why it bothers me as far as Bud jumping the line in this regards here, because there's a valid challenger at 168 who's fought and earned the opportunity to fight Canelo. Let's say this was at 160, where there wasn't any real challengers out there, it wouldn't bother me if Bud jumped up 2 weight classes, because I'd be intrigued with that fight. Because it's like, who else Canelo would fight? But at 168, nah, man. Benavidez is the only fight that Canelo should be fighting. If anything else, he fights anyone else, nah, people shouldn't go for it.
This is kind of honestly why, obviously, big reason why I love you guys' channel, because we got to really change, the culture of boxing back to, we got to get away from this whole, I get the whole money aspect of boxing, but it's gotten too far on the cash cow aspect. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have fighters that, even though you're the cash cow in boxing, what it does is it gives fighters the ability to literally avoid fights. Now, Canelo, I want him to make as much money for his family. I wish him all the best things. But if I'm calling it like an actual boxing fan, and I can separate being the casual fan and the boxing fan. I know we need casual fans. But if I'm just looking at it from a gladiator sports standpoint, there's a lot of things I don't like about the UFC and how mixed martial arts is run. But the one thing that is tried and true that boxing used to have when boxing was the #1 sport, you had to fight the next dude up. You could avoid it for maybe one fight, but you had to fight that you had to make a contract with that person or you got stripped immediately. All the sanctioning bodies used to be on board with that. And the promotional companies, they knew that the end result was going to be more money. That's why even if boxing if PBC signs with Prime, it's going to be a great thing. I was really hoping there would be some type of network deal to make fighters fight more often, but this logic that we use to give Canelo, these people got to, you can't just win a fight. You got to win impressively. But if you win impressively, you're not going to get to fight Canelo, along with any other fighter that's the #1 cash cow in the sport, especially with how this dude navigates his career. You know what I mean? I can respect the guy as a fighter and still say, he makes a lot of bitch moves, but it's because he's been allowed to by fans and the media. You can't even ask the dude about fighting certain fighters. David needs to get this fight. You know what I mean? He deserves it. But it's not just a David problem. It's a boxing media problem. We got to stop even having these conversations about what people got to do and how to avoid and all this or whatever. I don't think he can beat Bud. That's like a third-tier conversation. He should have fought David Benavidez probably, maybe 2-3 years ago? 2.5 years ago, and now I feel like
18 months ago.
If he did have a chance to beat David, I think he missed that window. It's an interview with Breadman Edwards talking about David on Mill City Boxing or whatever, and David said hey, he's not the most skilled guy, but if you look at what he's been forced to work on because of these last 2 camps he's had, it'd be a nightmare if Canelo fought this dude right now. He should fight him, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if he doesn't get David out of there in 6 rounds, which I don't think is likely, you might be seeing the end of somebody's career. I'm not even joking. Unless there's some weird weight clauses or something. I know Canelo's going to try to pull everything in the negotiations, but unless there's something weird and David all of a sudden gets old overnight, he can't make the weight. Because if he fights the guy that fought Andrade, Canelo, he don't want no part of that. You know what I mean? But that's my call. That's my take on it. You guys have a great weekend, man. Love the show.
All right. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, Jay, that's it for live calls. We appreciate you guys, everybody. John Mack just hit Brenda just called home and sends much love to y'all. We'll chat soon. Appreciate you, Brenda. $5, John Mack, man. Tell her to hit me up on my email, man. I miss Brenda. We used to call Brenda the damn queen of the channel, man. What the hell? She can't leave the throne yet. Jay, any other parting thoughts, man, before we wrap up this particular episode of the Angry Man Podcast?
Nah, just be good. Everyone don't get left out.
So, guys, I appreciate you guys. Number one, I appreciate for the people that really follow the channel, man, that's always on here and really follow what we're saying and help to build a community and help to come in and bring different perspectives and debate on topics. You guys get it. And I'm very appreciative of that. And certain people don't. I see people in the comment section, they're talking about stuff that we never said on this channel ever before in life. But they're welcome too. I'm just very appreciative of you guys, man. Every Sunday we get to come over here and chop it up with you guys. And it's great for me, man. It's therapeutic for me. And, it's always appreciated when you guys come and participate. So thank you. Jay, thank everybody who contributed to the channel today. If you feel in your heart to do it, please contribute to the channel. That's the way that we continue to bring you guys this content, because it does cost money. Consider becoming a member, man. We have memberships. It's like $2.99 or something like that a month. It just helps to run the channel and things of that nature. Jay, any other comments? Oh, please hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button already. It helps other people find the content, and that's always helpful and appreciated as well. Jake with the $5, man. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much.
Much appreciative.
Anything else, Jay, that you want to touch on before we wrap this one up?
Nah, just be looking out for content from us this week. It's fight week with Regis and Devin, so we're going to be talking about that and taking a look at their press conferences and seeing the weigh-ins and making a decision on that. So yeah, we're gonna have some content come. Hopefully, we'll get some more information. Not just us, but hopefully PBC will drop some information, because it's getting close to them. Towards the end of the year, they got to drop some information about where they're going to be at next. So hopefully, we'll get some of that and see that to be some content for us as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I had one more point I was about to make, but damn, I lost it. Damn it, I lost it. Anyway, yeah, that's what happens when you get older. Appreciate you guys, man. I knew what I was going to say. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any suggestions for the channel. We're always open for suggestions. So the email address is on the channel, about us or about whatever. You can find the email address there. Feel free to email us with any suggestions that you have for the channel. We're always open to that as well. So thank you guys. Until next week, peace. And we will be having content, of course, so you'll see us coming up very soon. But peace.